Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Gets in defensive posture. Lekkonen hits a hole with a shot kicked out. They score! Nikola on the rebound in the right place at the right time.
Wemby spinning, lays up and in.
This guy's just ridiculous. You pushed him off the box.
Trying to body him. Wembanyama with the block. Klingon got it back. Shot clock at 2. It's blocked again. Wembanyama out of there with it.
It's a high fly ball. It's deep to right field. Down the line for Caglionic there. He did it again, left on left, and we are tied.
In the Mojo Potatoes since 1954. Serving up a high drive to left center field and gone. Shohei Ohtani with an opposite field home run.
That one's a grounder towards Stokes. Stokes making the play to end this game. The Huskers win it 3-0 here at Illinois Field, and they take the rubber match. They win this series 2-1.
Felix goes up the middle. And it's going to be an RBI single for Felix as she drives in Tokon from second. Kaneda stops at second.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 on the day for Jordy Fromm. And the Huskers get the 13-0 win on Senior Day. They sweep the series for Iowa, and they move to 20-1 in Big Ten Conference play.
Good morning. Welcome in. Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mail Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. What's up, DB?
How we doing?
Oh, we're doing all right. How are you?
We're good.
Just hanging in there?
Yeah, chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a super social weekend for your boy. Shut it down. So it was good.
What's the how was your little 7-on-7 adventure?
Good. He played well. He's starting to get it. Actually finishing plays, so that helps.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just get there. Go ahead and get yourself a pick. They ran into a buzzsaw with the team from Sioux Falls. But yeah, man. Easy breezy. Mike easy.
Nice. Watch more hockey, baseball, or draft, or hockey, baseball, basketball, or draft this weekend.
Probably draft and hockey were about the same. Probably, because I couldn't get the quad box to give me. What was missing in the fourth quad box? I can't remember.
There
might have been one of the hoops.
Oh, so there were a couple basketball games on Prime.
They wouldn't give me.
Yeah, there were a couple basketball games on Prime this weekend, so that might have been it.
So at one point, I had 2 quads going on.
Okay.
Did I watch a little college baseball? I'm texting back and forth with Kugler, and we were talking about something completely different. And I was like, "Oh fudge, man! I can't believe how Liam Peterson is kind of backslid for Florida." He's probably like, "Where are you pulling that from?" I was like, "Oh, I was watching Florida and Texas A&M for a while." So it was. No, man, I didn't say much. I didn't do much. It was pretty chill.
Yeah, the
ate some leftover barbecue.
What kind of barbecue do we have?
This is kind of hodgepodge.
Yeah. Is that what you were gonna bring over on Friday?
Yeah. A couple racks, some wings, and like a picanha. Picanha, I'm continue to slice. I got some shelf life on that bad boy. Yes, it's in the fridge.
Have you figured out your seasoning on the picanha?
No, I kind of
still tinkering with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could always go. I have a Brazilian rub.
Yeah. That one seems the trickiest though. If you're
did I let you have it? Did I show that to you?
The Brazilian?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
How was your fancy pants dinner?
It was good. It was good.
Do you go with what they specialize in, or do you go off the beaten path?
There I kind of do whatever I feel like.
What was the special? Sometimes you can get good bison there.
Yeah, no, there was no bison. It was. I'm trying to remember. I think the special was mostly seafood. That's
what I got last time I went with Ryan.
Yeah. Their seafood is really good.
It was elite.
Yeah, it's really, really good. My mom got a steak. She always gets a steak there.
Really?
Yeah.
She strikes me as what? Ribeye? No, she's probably strip.
So she's actually filet. She loves fillets.
Oh, small town. She still went fillets, huh?
Yeah, big Big in the
Omaha
fillets.
to Big City grilled her.
Yeah, it must have. I don't know how much steak she was eating growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. She's big into the fillets, and then
I mean, hot take. Fillets are good. They're
Yeah.
just a little, they're so overrated.
yeah, they're not
for what they cost. I just think they're overrated.
they're not my particular cut. She doesn't like
They're good though.
She doesn't like the marbling as much. She doesn't like the fat in there. So
a lot,
she likes the fillets.
lot of stereotype alert. A lot of women don't. Give me all the marble.
Yeah, I'll go ribeye.
Yeah, I cut it up. I have some vacuum sealed that I'm gonna make turn into tallow.
We actually did. We split a porterhouse. So I got the T-bone part, and then she went and got
Talk
the
about
fillet.
an overrated cut.
It was okay. I mean,
For what a porterhouse is, I don't understand why it's never cooked right.
ours was pretty good.
It's like it doesn't have the flavor that it should,
Mhm.
given all the different cuts that it is.
I think it was.
It just typically tastes like a big T-bone, which I think is an extremely overrated cut.
It was pretty. I think that might have been the first time I've had a porterhouse.
There has to be a trick to it. Like some of these chefs out here need to tell me like why you don't get the same richness and flavor in a port. Like why is it so elusive in a porterhouse?
It wasn't quite ribeye, but it was pretty good. Like I was pleased with it. I wasn't upset about it.
Yeah, I'm probably not. What is that? 50 ounces? No, probably in the 40s.
I think it was in the 40s. It was aggressive. Maybe not for you. I can't put down 40 ounces of steak anymore.
I probably can't either. I know I can do high 20s pretty easy. Well,
Yeah.
I just did.
I can't. I can't do it anymore.
Fudge, even Micah can. He's
I've
not
seen
little.
Micah. He's like Incredible Hulking it out over here. So I don't want to be like when I was Micah's age, I could too.
He's growing.
Yeah, he's getting pretty big.
Yeah, so
Big in a good way, not big in a Dylan Raiola way.
Yeah, well, I mean, whoa.
Did you not see him trending on Twitter?
No.
So he was.
That might be one of my keywords that I'm not.
Oh, that you've got blocked. Yeah. So all right. I am being a hater. So there was a group of, and this wasn't even Nebraska people. This was national people watching the Oregon spring game that were making some jokes about his appearance. And the official story was like, well, it's the flak jacket, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but the flak jacket doesn't make your like belly button push out so you can see it through the jersey. So I don't know what you want me. It was a tough look for him. It was a tough look for him.
They're going to be pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Well, he's got another 5-star, too, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Then they got a local kid they like up there, too.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah. It was a little amusing to scroll through that particular trend.
He said, yeah, well, yeah, I'm being a hater. At least you owned it. I mean, because that's half the battle, right? Isn't that what G.I. Joe said?
Exactly. You just gotta eat it, you know?
What was the end? What was the sign off at the G.I. Joe cartoon, Shane? And knowing is half the I can't remember what they used to say.
Yeah, knowing is half the battle.
Is that what they said
I
at the
believe
end?
so.
You got the G.I. Joe sign off. Is that what we're looking for?
Hey, by the way, I don't know if it's on Netflix, Shane, or it might be Netflix. Snake Eyes has got his own own deal, yeah.
Nice.
Character development.
Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
That's the G.I. Joe.
That's the sign off.
Yeah, I got to see what that snake. You have Netflix, don't you, Shane?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the solo character. Yeah. No, it came out in 2021. It's not new. I don't know why it just is on my deal.
I don't know. TK says the tight Nikes aren't as flattering to certain body shapes, which I
didn't see it.
It was. I mean, I'll show you. I'll bring.
I'm looking at my. So it's not one of my word searches.
I'll bring it up.
I went down the rabbit hole. This is really dumb, but not Sean Becton. What was his name? Something Becton.
Got a little.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How'd he play?
There was he was 7 for 13 for 140 something and a touchdown. The touchdown was it was yak heavy, but it was good timing throw, and then I think that was about half the yard, so I think it was about 70 yards there. So
yeah, I went down this Stan Becton, who covers a lot of FBS football, and he was talking about the differences of the guys not getting drafted this year, and kind of did a breakdown. And I went down this Gronowski versus Cole Payton rabbit hole.
Okay.
And it was, it wasn't anything, his comments, they obviously got at him pretty good, but, he did a breakdown. Now, this is interesting. Rico, I'm going to send this to you because I do think it's interesting. We asked who may benefit, and it may be too early to tell in terms of the transfer portal, but it didn't appear group of fives and down benefited in the draft this year. Now, it might be too soon to tell.
Yeah, because what was the number? 97 of the top 100 were Power Conference or Notre Dame.
Yep.
So you only had 3 in the top 100. Was Chris Johnson.
Suave.
I believe was the only first rounder out of San Diego State. So
he's got an interesting dated deal, you guys, Rico and Jimmy Neutron, with the breakdown.
No.
But was that live? What do you mean?
What's
no?
up?
What?
No, I don't want to do it.
Oh, all right. It's worth a shot. I'm sorry. Thought you may be interested. But he was talking about how it was kind of sad.
There were a lot of these comments on the.
What happened?
I'm just, put it out there.
So this was the deal. He said, hate to see former South Dakota State great Mark Gronowski go undrafted after. Now, I don't even know if this needs context. This is what happens when you put something on an open forum.
Yeah.
Because on the 24th, in November of 24, he said, Mark Gronowski still has 2 years of eligibility left. So theoretically speaking, if he stays at South Dakota State the entire time, he'll surely be in the conversation for a top quarterback selected in the 2026 NFL draft, right? That was in 24.
Okay.
So then he comes back and he says, hate to see former South Dakota State great Mark Gronowski go undrafted after transferring to Iowa for his final year of eligibility. His trajectory after winning back-to-back FCS titles, did I say FBS earlier? FCS titles in 2022-23 was through the roof. Meanwhile, North Dakota State's Cole Payton got drafted with only 1 year as a starter, never winning a playoff game. How quickly the tides turn. Crazy when you think about it. So then, of course, you can imagine his Twitter timeline got busy.
Yeah, it is a really interesting conversation between that's kind of a knowing too much about a guy situation with Gronowski. Right?
Yeah, but I liked him going to Iowa. I was like, that was I'm like, this could be an interesting pickup. Now there's 2 people in particular. One I always trust. His kids. Well, I won't give up too much. We used to talk a fair amount, and I would see him locally at over at Pisons, and like he cautioned me on careful, don't like him changing scenery may not be
for Gronowski
a very linear translation. Like keep an eye on that one. It may not go the way you think. So, I mean, I wasn't expecting a ton after that, but I did think he'd play better.
Yeah, and he did later, right? He really struggled on the front end.
Yeah.
Got a lot better, started using his legs a lot more. I think he ended up with like over 500 yards rushing. And
he
was double-digit touchdowns rushing, wasn't he?
Those comment sections, like they got after him. And I think, listen, you're right, though. I mean, maybe a guy that covers it so close. But I don't think people loved the bringing. And I don't know if he was being – did you read that as being disparaging for Cole?
No, I think it was I think Cole's a good data point there, though. Gronowski was better at the FCS level than Cole Payton was.
Correct.
Like Gronowski was the best player in that division.
Correct.
So I don't think,
and they may have another one this year in Chase Mason if he stays healthy.
Yeah,
at SDSU.
And I don't think it's disparaging to be like, because it's true. Cole was only a 1-year starter. He was really good.
Yeah.
And he was useful in other ways before that, but he was only the full-time starter for a year. I think it's a really good comparison point to say, hey, this guy was better. And maybe not physically as impressive as Cole Payton, which I do think has a lot to do with why Cole Payton got drafted, right? It's not,
he was top 4 or 5 in RAS score?
Yeah, like he's a freaky athlete at the quarterback position. Not quite Taylor Green, but like still really,
Which,
really
by
good.
the way, didn't go the way people thought.
You mean Taylor Green?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he slid about where he probably should have been.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Why nobody?
I didn't know. I didn't get the pre. I said that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
No,
I don't know, you guys.
He felt like a day 3 pick all along to me.
Yeah.
And you take a flyer on that guy.
I didn't love the
tapes,
Gruden thing, but
the tape's not good.
Somebody in the chat was trying to convince me I was going to be. Was it the Chuckster? It was somebody I like.
I think Chuck is very high on Taylor Green.
Yeah, so I mean he's top 4 or 5 in the RAS score. So it's like,
so Gronowski's
pretty gifted.
Gronowski's not that level of athlete, which I think is a part of this equation that he didn't acknowledge in the comparison. But I do think it's fair to wonder, especially when we see the draft profiles of guys that just dominate at a smaller school, smaller level versus testing yourself and going up to a power conference level. Now, if you test yourself and succeed, your chances of getting drafted higher are much better. But I do think there's an argument to be made that if you test yourself and don't succeed, your chances of getting drafted overall go down dramatically, right? I think when you look at the small school guys, none of them went in the top 100, but people do still take flyers on them later in the draft.
Yeah, interesting. Suave, were you able to get all 24, 20? Oh, ask and ye shall receive. These
it's up there. Play. All right.
So
he says a total there were 14 group of 5 players picked,
which is the lowest in 3 years.
4 FCS players picked.
Yeah.
1 international player picked. No D2, no HBCUs.
Total of 18 non-P4 players.
For comparison, there were 27 non-P4s in 2025. There were 34 in 2024 and 48 in 2023. So it certainly appears to be trending.
That's I thought that was staggering.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, and maybe it's just the play and not necessarily.
I mean, that is trending pretty linearly to not make some conclusions from it, right?
Yeah, and it might just be the play and not. I'm thinking about like this, the level of play being elevated, and maybe not guys getting drafted, but shouldn't those things maybe go hand in hand?
What I would be fascinated to see is what the numbers are of guys that not finished at that level, but played at that level at some point.
Yeah, no, true. No, guys, like
we understand this is a transfer portal.
Yeah, it's definitely a portal issue.
What we're trying to figure out is we've had this discussion at different times of all this player movement, things like that is going to benefit certain people and hurt others. So we're trying to figure out, is this conclusive evidence that it's hurting the group of 5 and the FCS?
Maybe not yet, because we have to kind of see, I think you need at least another year or two and see what happens of guys that go lower once they enter the transfer portal, either go group of 5 or FCS, because we are starting to see that a little more versus going power 4 to power 4.
Yes. So
I don't know if it's happened long enough, but yeah, it's clearly a transfer portal.
Here's the other question that I think is interesting here. Number one, how many guys are drafted that spent any time at group of 5 or FCS but didn't finish there?
Yeah.
Because that's interesting. And then the other part of this that I think is interesting is just because guys aren't getting drafted out of those places as much as they were, I don't know that that's inherently bad for them. And the reason I say that is you could still be really successful at your level. I'm talking mostly about FCS at this point. I think you could still be really successful at your level and not have guys drafted.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's kind of what I'm saying about
the best of the best guys coming down.
The play seems to have elevated.
Yes. Though. FCS football's gotten really, really good. So I think it might be hey, guys that probably shouldn't have been at FBS or group of 5 schools end up where they should be at FCS instead of just plugging along as the 4th string kicker at, Alabama.
Yeah.
They end up at going to UAB or NDSU or somewhere like that and say, okay, now I've got a chance to play and now my team's better for it, but we're not getting drafted. So that I think is a really interesting thing here because I would agree with you. I think the play has been better at FCS.
Yeah, it's played at a really high, and the talk was, hey, you can still get drafted.
Yeah,
because the data, 23, 24,
and even 25, just
showed you that was true. It is.
Now that might be a harder sell as we go on, as you can still get drafted, but it might just be a sell of like, hey, you're not playing up there.
Yeah,
because like that's the hard sell of every coach that coaches at a level that's probably not producing professional talent. Right. NDSU and SDSU are kind of outliers in the FCS realm that way, right?
Yep.
And so every other school is kind of dealing with when you are recruiting a kid, you're basically telling him like whatever your dream of was going pro is probably not in the cards. And that's a really tough sell to kids, especially when their whole life they've been told like, yeah, this is a possibility for you. And then they get the big power conference scholarship and it still feels like a possibility. And then you're at this point where you have to have an enormous amount of self-awareness at like 20 years old to say, hey, is this a possibility for me and I'm just in the wrong situation? Or do I need to find the level of football that's right for me? Do I just want to continue playing football at a high level? Or is making it to the NFL the only thing that matters to me at this point?
Yeah.
Right? And if you can have that conversation with a kid and you get them to, let's say even a South Dakota, right? South Dakota doesn't pump out professional talent the way the NDSU and SDSU does, right? But South Dakota is a really good FCS program.
Yep.
So you can go there and say, okay, am I a South Dakota guy? Is that okay? Am I okay with knowing, yeah, maybe my football journey is over after I end up at South Dakota? Or do I really, really need myself? Do I really want to give myself the opportunity to go somewhere where I get the chances are against me even making it on the field, but this is still the best opportunity to get drafted? Because if these numbers continue, you're probably going to have a hard time selling, yeah, you can still get drafted here.
You ever think, you talked about this more from a basketball standpoint. There's no way tradition-rich programs that win national championships would openly admit to being a feeder.
No, but it's tough. Like, it's going to be real tough because if you're really, really good at, let's say, because national championships, we're talking NDSU, SDSU, right? If you're one of those programs and you're sitting there and you're going, okay, these guys are...
Because they both will turn right around and make another run at it.
Absolutely.
Especially if Chase Mason is healthy.
Absolutely. But you're going to have a really hard time, I think, selling guys on the fact you have a better chance of keeping guys that could be NFL players that weren't considered that early on when you're recruiting them out of high school than you do bringing guys down to that level and saying, hey, you can still make it to the NFL if you perform well here. I think that part is the harder sell because their entire programs have been based off of going to get guys that nobody else wanted and identifying that and turning them into NFL players. That I don't think changes. Now, they might do Mark Gronowski's and spend their last year somewhere else, but you'll get them for 3 or 4 at the state schools in the South Dakotas and still be able to win national championships doing that. The guys that I think are going to be harder to get, and this may not even be that important to those 2 schools in particular, is getting guys that are coming down from the FBS level because you're going to have a really hard time selling with the new data points that you can still go to the NFL if you finish your career here.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of those. That's why I don't really want to just jump the gun, DJ, and say, because I understand it's again a transfer portal thing, but like, where did they come from versus were you there and then went Power 4, or did you stay there the whole, like, was it just a one school thing?
I would bet, and I'll see if I can get into this a little bit.
I kind of want to dig a little.
I would bet that you have more guys that spent some time outside of a power conference school in that kind of group we're talking about than I would bet that number is actually going up.
Suave, can you pump that out again for me real quick? My favorite Knicks fan. I'm just doing the. I mean, that's a.
I mean, from 48 to 18 in 3 years is an aggressive
That's
drop.
aggressive.
Yeah.
That is super aggressive.
And there's no outliers in there. It's trending that direction. Right?
And even 19 to 14 from just 25 to 26. 19 G5 picks. And that was including Washington State. I get that. 8 FCS picks. But you cut that number in half.
Yeah, 8 FCS picks to 4. You went from FCS picks went from 10, 11, 8, 4. And that is, and then the group of 5. The group of 5 is crazy from 23 on down because it went 36 to 19, and it sort of has stabilized in the teens there for the last few years.
Yeah.
But that FCS one is a tough number for some of our friends.
That's the rabbit hole that I went down because I started looking at like guys that I thought were pretty good at the Power 4 level that didn't get drafted, right? And this started with seeing how late Harold Perkins went. Because I think you'd asked me Wednesday, Thursday. I was like, I think I was talking about this with Micah maybe. I was like, hey, Harold Perkins is going to be a steal for somebody. Can you believe that, like, he's basically gone unmentioned?
Yeah.
He went late in the 7th round.
Yeah.
Harold Perkins.
Yeah.
Patrick Payton didn't even get drafted from LSU.
Yeah.
So it's like, apparently it's pretty tough.
There's also
Sean Barham, would he go 3rd round?
3rd
fourth?
round, I think. 3rd or 4th, yeah. He got had to be 3rd because he went on Friday while we were at Socorro's.
I mean, it's just I don't know. It's interesting.
I also
Brockermeyer. Did I think Brockermeyer was going to get drafted from Miami? Yeah, probably late.
Yeah.
He didn't get drafted at all.
What about
there were a lot.
What about Singleton? Were you surprised he didn't get drafted?
So the thing that so there's 2 things that I think would always bug me about Singleton: rigor and health.
Yeah,
and maybe they go hand in hand. The athleticism. I mean, definitely Sunday skills.
Yeah. And he ended up testing kind of the way we thought he would.
Yeah.
Which I thought might get him drafted with.
But even that came with kind of the bad hammy early.
Yeah.
And Indy.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I get it. I think Tampa's going to be a good fit. I mean, they get 2 Nebraska guys.
Yeah.
But, I was a little surprised that the draft is fascinating for it. Allegedly, and I'm not ready to say this, but for it allegedly not to have been a very good draft.
I mean, I don't buy that, but
no, we got into that Friday. We don't need to. I mean, we could relitigate it, but I was surprised at how it went.
Who did you like the fit best for Nebraska?
Definitely Emma Johnson. I mean, I brought up KC on.
Yeah.
I brought up KC on. Was that in the Patreon or was that on the show?
I think it might have been the Patreon. I don't think it was on the show.
Yeah, because we talked about the Rams.
We talked about the Rams.
I think we did. No, So I said the Rams, the Vikings, the Chiefs.
Yeah, I said Rams, Bucks, Niners,
and yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, anybody will be good with the Niners.
Yeah.
So you saw Washington went about what I thought. I'm like, I didn't get it, and people were surprised he was still on the board late, and I was like.
No, that's a guy that
I don't know, man.
The tape doesn't match.
The tape?
Yeah, that's a guy that's the tape doesn't match. Yeah, I liked Emmett to the Chiefs. So Deshaun went to the Chiefs, right?
Buccaneer.
I thought Javen went to the Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. You're right.
Okay.
Javen went to Tampa.
Kean McCullough went to Denver, and then Sierra went to Cincinnati. Looks like Harburg's not signed yet.
Yeah, Deshaun's a Bronco, right?
Yep.
He's going to be interesting.
I'll be really curious because, there was, as the internet happens to be sometimes, a lot of negativity around Nebraska only having 1 draft pick, and I get it.
I mean, death taxes and guys doing that. It's like, you guys are like sadists.
I'll be interested to see how many guys actually make a roster.
It's a bad look. I mean, like, no bleep. But when you're winning 7 games and you don't have postseason honors, like, are we just stating that it's, hey, man.
Just reminding you, this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of people out there doing that. Here's the other thing that I think is important, considering the context of how much we've talked about needing to become an old team, right? This isn't basketball where guys are draft eligible every year, right? Like, there's a certain part of this that's just the math of how old guys are. And I would argue that there's several guys on Nebraska's team, like Elijah Pritchett, I fully expect to get drafted.
Yeah,
right. Like, that's a really good football player that's going to get drafted. Like, I think there's several guys in that realm that's like, hey, yes, Iowa had 7 guys drafted. Great for Iowa. It's because they all had aged into that point of being.
Do you think Longpaw was going to get drafted?
I wasn't.
He came in with a ton of hype.
Yeah.
And their guys get drafted.
I guess I wasn't stunned, but honestly, the one that surprised me maybe the most.
And the entire draft, this ought to be good.
And maybe this is just, I don't know, maybe I don't know.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I couldn't believe some of the guys that got drafted ahead of Nussmeier.
So here's the thing, and I'm not gloating. I never liked Nussmeier.
I get it.
And you would we've had this conversation about him.
Didn't like him as presumptive 1-1 coming into the year. That didn't make sense to me. I agreed with you there. But like, we're taking Kaliak Manis above Garrett Nussmeier?
Oh.
That's the one where I'm just like, wait, what?
The quarterback thing is funny.
And that's a great place for Nussmeier. Ended up with Andy Reid. If you're there for a couple years,
I mean,
great place. But
apparently nobody liked Haynes King throwing it in. If you can't play Sawyer Robinson, no bueno.
Yeah.
Aguilar, no bueno.
I was a little surprised
Haynes King, no bueno.
I was a little surprised that Luke Altmaier didn't get drafted because he can play catch.
Yeah.
And he's pretty athletic. I get he's not like going to physically blow you away, but that dude can play catch. We saw that for 2 years.
Do you think Miller Moss was going to get drafted?
No, that dude has undrafted free agent written all over him.
I'm telling you, the story of the 5 stars.
So that's especially
is wild at quarterback,
especially those drop back guys.
It is wild at quarterback.
The drop back guys' bust rate is enormous.
How about Retzloff? You talk about how things can turn in a hurry.
Yeah. I don't know what
listen, if you just start him at BYU a year ago, no drama.
Yeah.
You think Retzloff is getting drafted?
Probably. I don't know how high, but probably gets drafted. I'm trying to remember.
He's throwing to Chase Robert.
I'm trying to think
who also didn't get drafted.
I'm trying to think back a year and a half ago what I thought he was as a prospect before all the other stuff. And I'm having a hard time. I don't know that I ever thought he was a top 2 day guy, but probably a guy that would have get drafted at some point. I do think this conversation does lend credence to the fact that it actually was a pretty good draft, because we're talking about a lot of guys that were either highly skilled or highly productive that didn't get drafted. Where in a lot of years, I think they would have. So I think that lends itself to, okay, maybe we didn't love the top end as much. Maybe we didn't love the quarterback class as much. But I do think this was a pretty good draft. I do think there were a lot of good players in this draft.
Were you guys surprised that Dante Corleone didn't get drafted?
Yeah. Oh, from Cincy? Yeah.
So I'm just going to say this. My answer is yes. I'm telling you, there's one thing we don't, and we talk about this so flippantly. It drives me up the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only going to talk about O-line and D-line play with a select few people, because I do get bothered by the fact that when people see guys, oh man, he's going to be this kind of guy. And I'm like, listen, you guys, O-line, D-line is hard to project. That and wide receiver. So while I didn't think he was not going to go undrafted, I never saw him as I won't say never. I didn't think he was like a day 1 or 2 guy.
No, I thought he was like a late round guy that, you can't coach the size that he has and his ability to just eat up blocks. Like, he's not going to be the defensive tackle that's getting 3 TFLs every game.
He took the 50 lineman from Bama. What's his buckets? Who's 6'2", 327. I can see him. He wore 96 or 98 in my head. Got drafted super late, playing in the interior for Bama, and I'm like, I look at a guy like Corleone and I'm thinking, he could probably do that. The draft. What's that?
Tim Keenan.
Yep. Yeah. You just have that on the Rolodex?
No, I was looking it up. I went by position. I went D-tackle and found
fast for you as a Googler.
You know, I have my moments.
Yeah, because normally you blow chunks. Yeah, that's wild.
Google me.
I will take my victory lap on Nate Borkacher too.
Yeah.
Now, I ain't gonna tell you that I said I saw second round.
I don't think anybody did, but he had a very draftable, third, fourth round draftable grade.
And even you guys that got at me after his first year at A&M, Sunday talent. Yeah, man, Sunday talent. And they got one more that's going to leave this state too in Bramer next year. So I'll get that one right too.
I don't know how reliable this source is. Sounds like there may have been something in Corleone's medicals that people didn't love. That kept him from. But that's the kind of thing. Like if you're a 5th round guy,
take the flyer.
No, that gets you out of the draft. If you're a 5th round, like if you have a 4th to 7th round grade and you have a medical concern,
I agree.
That's the thing that'll drop you out of the draft. If you're a 1st or 2nd round guy, that's what drops you to a 3rd, 4th, 5th round guy, right?
Yeah.
But if you're kind of in that range anyway, teams will just be like, well, I'll just take the guy who is basically as good and doesn't have whatever issue we think you might have. Like that's you have to have a certain level of talent to overcome certain things. If that's accurate with the report on Dante Corleone, I'm not going to deep dive on the report.
KP,
there,
my resident Steelers fan. It was blood
clots. Yeah. That's what the report was saying.
And it was lower extremities too, which
legs
is not good.
Yeah,
not good.
TK doesn't like his natural leverage.
Yeah, he doesn't think he's explosive enough, but he hasn't watched a lot of these guys that got drafted late that are big guys.
Yeah, a lot of them are kind of just bodies, if we're being honest. Like,
but to his point, it's done a 180 in probably 4 years. You cannot be a plugger and play anymore.
No. Can't just,
I guess there's always going to be a place for Vita Vea, but
there's not a ton of those.
There aren't a ton of those.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, you better have a little bit of get up and go.
Yeah. Hard to believe that Haloti Ngata would have a hard time. But, guys, they don't play that way anymore.
Yeah, like what
that wasn't even that long ago.
No, it really, especially with Ngata. I was going back to like a Vince Wilfork.
Oh, Wilfork would definitely have a hard time. And he's an HOFer.
Yeah, he's one of the best to ever.
Yeah, but I feel like that too about like
Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, he was a stud.
That's a big.
Remember all those clips I sent you about?
It makes me
about the offensive line that was playing against him, and he was talking about how Vince Wilfork just like dropped his privates. He goes, "Yeah, I'm in the lot." Yeah, remember that? Because I have a thing for this. Was just probably 6-7 months ago.
Yeah,
I have a thing for Vince Wilfork.
Yeah.
Like, that's funny you bring him up. Like, I honk for that dude.
That's just a guy.
And Seymour.
That's what
those defense early.
Seymour would be fine.
Seymour came out at 290. He's bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
But he was 6'7".
Yeah. So he's still lean. Like 6'7", 290 is lean for a defensive line.
Yeah. And he played lean.
Yeah.
Those like late 2000s, 2010s Patriots defensive lines.
Yeah.
Those were nice.
Yeah, they got guys to play a certain way that you weren't thinking. Like, Casey Hampton would struggle his brains out.
Man, we're just
these are good pulls.
Yeah, Gilbert Brown.
Yeah, these are good pulls.
Gilbert Brown, old boy for Packers.
Yeah,
next to Reggie.
Yeah,
he was a big boy out of Kansas.
Yeah, and they put him in like
it makes me sad.
You had to block back on him, and you're gonna single somebody, and it's like somebody's eating.
Yeah,
it makes me sad that there's no room.
Easy me Allah.
Makes me sad there's no room for whole pluggers anymore because I just love seeing the big dudes with their bellies, like the jerseys just barely holding on.
Well, nobody runs on first down. So when do you play that guy?
That's true.
It's hard. It's hard.
Those jerseys hanging on for dear life.
Those things are stretched to the max.
Well, now that you're doing Gabir,
I used to know it, and
I believe it's Gabir Baha Biamila.
It's Gabaja Biamila. The G is not silent.
The second G is not silent?
Gabaja Biamila.
I love how Rico just matter of facts that thing.
Gabir Gabaja Biamila. There we go.
I think he's the one that is announcing like American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
They
just used to call him KGB.
That's what I call him.
Which is sick.
It's just
Cornflicted just said I just ordered my Rossini Patriots jersey.
Wow.
I think that's a good time to take a break. We'll be right back. Coming up on the show today, we got Sam McKEWON from the Omaha World Herald and Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites as we put a bow on the NFL draft. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Seltos LX as low as $198 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Kia Sportage LX as low as $228 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Kia. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
Players been saying about the stash?
Mixed reviews, definitely. Don't ask Sarah when you interview her. She will say she doesn't like it, a part of why I'm keeping it.
Are you pro or anti-mustache?
I am anti, like majorly anti. I said to him, I was like, are you keeping that for the game? He did, and now he's probably going to keep it for the whole rest of the season, which I respect that.
But yeah, mixed reviews. I think it's just a fun way to kind of add a lightheartedness to the sport and to, the pressure of trying to get to playoffs and all that. I thought it would just kind of be a funny joke for them to laugh at, and if I have to be at the expense, whatever works.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ, where we are going to see how many times I can reheat this burrito and it still holds structural integrity.
I just want to tell you, what you're doing to that quality of burrito is giving me the willies. You should have just eaten. It's good quality for a frozen burrito.
Yep.
And which, by the way, ballsy just putting it in the fridge.
No, those are supposed to be refrigerated. Those ones you're not supposed to freeze.
Oh, I got it all backwards. I don't refrigerate what's supposed to be refrigerated, and I refrigerate what's supposed to be frozen. I don't know.
Those are supposed to stay.
That's pretty okay. That's because I find them
they're in the refrigerator section over at Costco because they're in the middle, like those middle.
Yeah, the ones
like
where the
across
cheese
from the meat counter.
Yeah.
They don't freeze them because I think it's fresher ingredients, so they're not like preservatives preservatives as some of the other ones, which I don't care about. I just like the macros on these better, and they taste better.
The macros are outstanding for what it is,
and they taste better. So
I don't think for a guy that didn't really leave the house, I don't think I made breakfast any of the days.
You make breakfast almost every day.
I know.
That's weird.
Yep, didn't make breakfast yesterday, and certainly didn't make breakfast Saturday.
Huh? You just skip it or what?
I don't know. Like I get in these weird moods.
Z-Bear just eating some like Cheerios or what?
I don't know what happened. But I did take a gander at my egg selection. It is not. I need to
restock.
Yeah. I made that little terror. I made her spaghetti bake yesterday.
Kel Jam, it is what are these?
They're pretty good.
It's the Don Miguel burritos.
Well, you can show the camera. There's this thing now where they can unfortunately see us.
Those are good burritos.
They're legit.
They're not in the freezer section.
Those are Caleb's favorite.
So I started eating those just to get some protein in at breakfast, and Natasha got a little upset with me because I would go on this. I'd go on.
You're such a wiener.
I go on these things.
Natasha got a little upset with me.
I'll go on these things where I'll eat the same thing day after day after day.
Yes, I've seen it.
And then I just don't want anything to do with that thing immediately after.
That's exactly how Shane is.
And
your buddy.
There were a couple instances where the burritos went bad because I was just like, okay, I need to start eating these again. And
dude,
then
you do realize you will eat the same thing like 30 days in a row.
Yep. And then I don't want to see it for like 6 months.
Yeah, it's okay. Shane, what lunch meat have you rotated to?
No, I'm on the what's the red top one, the Hillshire.
Yeah.
So
there's a particular grocery store that had a few select ones. Get this, 2 for $5 or 2 for $6.
Oh, that's nice. I would have been all over that. And it's the smaller ones.
Yeah. Now it was honey roasted, oven roasted, rotisserie.
Honey roasted, best out of all those.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the rotisserie chicken, which I didn't know people buy.
Yeah, I mean that's a little sus sometimes.
Natasha loves the rotisserie chickens. I want nothing to do with it.
So there's two big brands, right? Boar's Head and Deluso. The Boar's Head rotisserie chicken is way good. The shelf life is like 2 days.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with those.
I don't know what it is about I don't know what it is about that deli meat. That chicken, you better get it while it's good. Even I.
Oh, I was talking about the whole rotisserie chickens that you get.
I don't really rock with rotisserie chicken.
I don't either, but Natasha loves those things.
Yeah, it's
Kel Jam. It's by like the charcuterie. It's not by the milk section.
No. So KJ,
like
I'll do you a solid. It's where you get like the Korean. You can get
like the kebabs,
all
the pre-made
the brats.
Yeah, all the pre-made.
It's in those four middle rows.
Yeah.
That are
right across from the meat counter.
Yep.
We'll help you find. You'll get there. I promise.
Those are legit.
They have good stuff over there. Not just the burritos. I've had several things over there that I like quite a bit.
You know, on the Snake too, their pre-made meal stuff, they've upgraded.
Pretty good. Yeah, I've had a few of them.
You're not a poke guy, are you?
It's okay. I'm not obsessed with it, but it's not bad.
Get the wasabi.
Is it from Costco?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now you got about, again, 30 hours.
Sure. Anything that's like pre-made like that, like I'm planning to eat it that day.
That's good.
I've done their, you know me, I like Caesar salads a lot. I've done their Caesar salad. It's pretty good.
It's low sodium, so it doesn't. Is that what it is, Cactus Jack? Huh.
Oh, interesting. That would make sense because salt helps preserve. So that would make sense.
I mean, it goes. I feel like that about turkey too. Turkey of the deli meats, and I know you're not honking to buy turkey, but sometimes I just want a turkey sandwich.
I don't. I've literally never had that thought in my entire life.
How about your boy who doesn't want to waste anything? I wanted we got back from Westport and I had an Asiago. It wasn't even a bagel. It was like this flatbread thing that I got out of the grocery store with smoked salmon.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through this Asiago thing. It's supposed to be protein bagels.
Yeah.
When did I get back from New York?
A few months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, there's still 2 bagels left in there. I was eating like one every 7 days. I'm like, this is a bad buy.
Yeah.
And I get mad when that happens.
No, I get you. I understand. You want some value there. I get it.
Yeah. I should not have gotten it.
Speaking of bad, if anybody's listening that actually works here besides you guys, the protein drinks are free game. I got those for everybody.
Can I
have bad vibes? That's terrible.
And listen, I'm only here for probably 4 hours a day, so don't mind me. But that refrigerator is giving me the willies. Can I just organize and have people not be like, who touched my stuff? Because you guys just put stuff in their He did the cardinal sin.
What I do?
What's the cardinal sin that drives me up the wall?
With the fridges? I don't know.
You put the box in the fridge.
Oh, yeah.
Take the stuff out of the box.
I didn't know if
Are you that dude?
If the fridge is that empty, it's fine.
No, right is right. Okay.
Like if there's a lot of stuff in there, like all
opportunity, Suave, just do what's right.
No. I do what I want.
You're a box guy then, right?
If there's room, I'll just put it in there in the box. But if I need room, yeah, I'll take it out of the box.
Oh God.
I can tell you right now, Rico's a box guy.
100%.
Austin is steady, always telling.
Just like Vrabel.
He stays it's not even dry snitching.
I need Chimney Rock in the other room to chill out.
Right tells. Golly, Austin.
Western Nebraska celebrity.
Yeah,
man gets back from one weekend where everybody recognizes him and he thinks he's hot shit.
Get him, Rico. I want to talk about this before we talk about Sam, because TK brings up an interesting point.
What did he bring up?
So he's been on this thing. I'm gonna give him his credit. Okay. He, going back to a couple of years ago, probably 3 years ago, where I said, I don't know, who knows where this is going. Goes back to me saying that I think Nebraska was too big along the D line. This was like Ty Robinson's junior year. I'm looking at these average weights in the Big Ten for D linemen. Nebraska was like 15 to 16 pounds heavier on average. I kind of run the number. This is maybe 22, 23. And so on the heels of Nebraska wanting to get lighter and faster, I would always give pushback on size. You don't need to be, this will all make sense, right? So you don't need to be this size to stop the run. It's more about fundamentals and it's, technique. And I would get into everything and I would give you all these D linemen that weren't over 300 pounds, right? Famously, the one that we just heard from a lot on social media, right? Never played above 290, was really good at stop. I mean, JP could stop the run, right? And so to TK's point, we're talking about how these pluggers have to be careful. These squatty body stuffing.
Yeah, they're occupiers. They're space occupiers,
space
right?
eaters.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for those guys to play at a high level for a long time. And so TK hits me, and he kind of glossed over it in the stream, but there's probably not enough characters. But to me, via text, he says, I think you probably know my feelings about Nebraska's currently D-line recruiting, but this discussion about big D linemen is why I love the body types Nebraska is going after, because we're one of those weird shows.
We get real nitty
gritty about body types, right? Tim Verghese, me, we like.
You're trying to find the common denominator, and you're like, I think it's.
And we've been doing this for like 8 months because it's in my. It fits with.
I want to know what they're looking at too. Like I want to know what they're trying to accomplish.
It fits with how with what I'm thinking. And so he goes, it's why I love the body types Nebraska is going after. Explosive and violent hands who can move. You can take a 265-pound guy and make him 280 and they'll still be able to move. To be that big and drafted high, you have to be a truly special talent. Meanwhile, the guys Nebraska is going after are much more reliable and repeatable in terms of mold. I agree with you. It's like you're beating your head against the wall, though, because people see that you haven't stopped the run.
And they say, oh, guys.
So they immediately think we need to be big or we need to be this. Or so they start throwing out numbers without really watching how guys stop the run. You know what I mean? So
it's a very casual take to say, oh, you're just not big enough.
Yeah.
If you struggle to stop the run, right? Because that's not how great teams are playing defense anymore. I think it's a very outdated take. I just do. I think it is a 2005 or honestly probably earlier than that, but like 2005 to 2012-ish take where that's just not really how football is played anymore. And it is.
Remember, we thought Davis was too big in Philly. Like that was a real thing. That's not fictitious.
Is he going to be able to move well enough to execute how they want him to? Like that's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
And there's a reason that Aaron Donald is, there's a reason that Aaron Donald is one of the best, defensive linemen of all time. Even the guy that we think of as a huge guy, Sue never played that heavy.
No.
Like he was always right around 300 pounds, right? The guys that we're thinking about are like the old Gerald McCoys of the world, that those guys don't have a place anymore, really, unless you're, again, like TK was saying, a special athlete.
Yeah, famously, Cappy, Indiana was the one that I did the deep dive with.
Yeah, you did Indiana and I did Michigan State.
And Iowa, I mean, I get it.
That's why one of the guys I'm fascinated by is Berriman.
I know you keep saying it. I have to watch it more. I don't know enough.
I don't either, but I'm fascinated because he is what we would consider a squatty body, but he might be a special athlete. We don't know. Yeah. I don't know yet, at least. Maybe he is, but he would appear to be kind of the outlier in the types of guys they've recruited. But if he is a special athlete, maybe he's got the length they like still. Maybe he just happens to be a bigger version of that. I don't know.
Just give me heavy hands and good leverage.
But that's the guy that I'm fascinated by, is because he does seem to be a little bit of an outlier.
As long as you can create knockback, you can stop the run.
That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be right back with Sam McKEWON here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Nissan. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue Platinum starting at just $349 a month. Shift into the ride you've been waiting for. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder SV, a third-row SUV, starting at just $399 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Nissan.
Well, this is only my second year doing this. Maybe I did it once when I was an assistant. So, I mean, it's a lot further away than Ord was, and I just feel like, you're in a whole different area and people that have even a tougher time than some of the other places that we've been getting to matches in Lincoln. So it's really fun to be out here and, just experience the sand hills, I guess, and to show our players a whole new area. I think it's important, not just volleyball, for all of our sports. And I know the other sports don't travel like we do. It's a little different situation for a lot of them. But, the fact that it's not just a school that's popular in Lincoln. This is an athletic department that the state loves, and the whole state is proud of, not just Lincoln and Omaha.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Stadiums are the economic engine of a Big Ten athletic department. They just are. And we're about to undertake a project that quite honestly will protect the financial stability that Husker Athletics has. And really, it's been said before, we expect to lead. And no one knows where this college athletics world is going to end. There's a lot of tumult, but this is the opportunity for us to lead from a financial standpoint.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Sam McKEWON from the Omaha World Herald. Sam, how are we doing this morning?
I'm good. Rainy, but it's good.
Oh, the rain is awesome. We're almost caught up in terms of, at least in the Omaha-Lincoln area, in terms of precip. I know in western Nebraska they're still a little behind, but we're getting there, Sam. Remember, I'm a big balance guy. Balance. We need moisture.
Right. You're a big lawn guy, too. So.
I'm no sodder, but yes. I know. You want to say it? I'll say it for you. Thank God I'm not a sod. I'm no sod.
Oh, I love Mike. Does he edge his yard? Is he a yard edger?
Yes, Sam. Okay. He has what we call issues. It's fine.
He's like a cross cutter, edger. Like he does the whole thing, Sam. It is extra.
I love it because he's passionate. So I just let him go. It's like one of your kids that really loves to do something, and you're just like, hey, be free. Go do it.
Well, if Nebraska had decided to put grass inside Memorial Stadium, they maybe could have asked Mike to come and cut it for him.
The manager.
He'd have done a great job. Probably would have been down. Look, hey, this looks like good growth, but they're not. They're going to keep the turf, and Matt Rhule seemed good with that. I think the new turf they have in there, the synthetic turf, is excellent, and it should be good enough for use so they don't have too many injuries going forward. The stuff they had in there before was low quality, and kudos to Rhule for understanding that and getting it out of there, even though it had only been in there for a couple of years.
Let me ask you something, Sam. This is on the heels of what Dan just said about. Did you get a chance to hear that? Did you get a chance to hear that open that we just played that Dan had talked about, Sam?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so this is on the heels of our sit down with Coach Rhule the other day, where he got. I didn't think it was received how it was intended. Right, Coach Rhule's comments. I asked him specifically about stadium renovation versus NIL, and it's clear, hey, they're two separate things.
Right.
I followed it up with, which I thought was good. Like, we need to hear that because we assume. And then I followed it up with, like, hey, the NIL was this at one point. What did you mean when you said? And he's like, it's like, hey, this is what schools do now. Why can't Nebraska be first? I thought it was interesting to hear Troy Dannon say, even in that clip, when it comes to spending, Nebraska needs to be first. Why can't we be first? That kind of lets me know, Sam, and I hope I'm not reading into it, that they're at least on the same page in terms of kind of what has to happen fiscally for growth in this program.
I think they're on the same page. Yeah, I think they both understand what each other is trying to accomplish with the two separate tracks, and they are a little bit separate. The Memorial Stadium project is going to help Nebraska, and I wrote about this in the Rewind, I guess, last week.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4 years from now, this is the kind of thing that supplies you with revenue that keeps you above the line in debt. So the revenue sharing cap, if it exists in 5 years, there's no guarantee that it will. But if the revenue sharing cap exists in 5 years, then it'll keep going up. And if there is no revenue sharing cap in 5 years, in other words, if they just get rid of that and the House settlement just goes away, then the athletic departments that are going to compete the best will be the ones that can continue to leverage its savings, so to speak, and continue to go above and beyond some of the other schools. Now, you can do that a lot of different ways. You could, in theory, have a billionaire who puts the money in a trust. Texas Tech's done that. Michigan State's kind of done that. Or you could continue to have an athletic department that brings in revenue and leverages the fan base, the very supportive fan base. And I think that's probably where Nebraska would go. I think at this moment, so there's that in a couple of years, and then there's this moment. And I think this moment, Nebraska is not at the forefront. And so I think Rhule's talking not just about what's going to happen in 5 years, but how does, and he mentioned this on Friday. So we asked him 3 or 4 questions, first about the stadium, then about the grass, and then Mitch asked him about how much time he's spending on the NIL piece or fundraising piece. Mm-hmm. And he said about 50% of his time right now, and obviously that won't be the case during the football season. And then I asked him, so is that, obviously your roster's set for 26. So what is that for? Because there's no portal. These guys can't leave. And he's like, well, it's for the portal class to come. So in 27, the January 27 portal class, it's player retention. So the minute the season gets over, they have to start having conversations with their best players about retaining them and the 27 recruiting class. And I think of the pieces that are in line, the first one is the 27 recruiting class. And so he's like, those guys are going to come here. I think he was talking about the recruits. Those guys are going to come here in June with a number, and Pat Stewart's not going to go 1 penny above the number. So he's going to accumulate whatever, and then they're going to give a number. And these are guys that Nebraska would like to add to their 27 class. And Rhule's not going to lie to them. So he's going to tell them the truth about what they've got and what they can offer. And I think the question becomes, when these guys roll in and the red carpet's rolled out for them and they see all the things that are really good about the program, and then it comes to, okay, so what's the number? Nebraska can't afford to have its number be half of what another team's number would be. And so I think that's the urgency of the urgent moment that I think that they're kind of trying to work through. And I don't, the stadium piece is down the road. So they've got to try to figure out some mechanisms in the short term that, as Rhule's put it, both on your show and on Friday, if the number is right, then you start to look at the other things that might make a job. He said job on your show, but make a school the right choice. In other words, everything that Nebraska has comes more into play once it can say our number is competitive. Maybe our number's 50,000 less than School B, but we're going to make up for that with all the things that we've got that they don't. And I think that's where Nebraska has what you might call benefits, but their salaries got to be in line with what other schools are offering.
I can't even remember when this was. This was before you took some vacation. So it had to be at least a month ago. And you and I were just casually talking, right? Ton of respect. I think you're extremely bright. We were talking about spending. Did you think or did you foresee that us differing in terms of Nebraska's roster expenses or actual football expenses would grow the legs that it did? Because apparently, and maybe this is just in message board world, there are the guys that like really wanted this to be a thing. I didn't say it for a hot take. I believed it to be accurate. I think you believed what you were saying was accurate. Did you think it was going to morph the way that it did, or is it just in that land that it existed and I'm kind of misrepresenting it?
I think there are a lot of Nebraska fans who exist outside that world. I want to be clear. But within the online Nebraska universe, you said you thought Nebraska was 10th, 11th, 12th.
Yeah, somewhere 10 through 12.
Right, and I said 7th or 8th. Now there's not that much difference between those two numbers, and there may not be a ton of difference between what the 8th place team is paying out and the 12th place team is paying out, other than the placement, right? It could be, a team, one team 6-3 in the Big Ten and the other team's 5-4.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think here's what I would say is that your comment, I'm very, you can very quickly come up with 6 teams in the Big Ten and say they spent more than Nebraska, and actually think Nebraska fans would be like, yeah, okay. And that maybe that's part of the problem. That might be part of the problem. Mm-hmm. But like I as I said to you, Ohio State, Michigan, USC, Penn State, who else did I mention? Indiana, Oregon, and there was another one I can't remember.
Well,
but
already, if you just say already, that's 7.
That right. So I think most fans would be like, yeah, that sounds about right. Oh well. When you introduce 12, and I think I posted this on a message board. If Nebraska's 12th, then all of a sudden you have to start introducing programs that are what exactly? And so the programs that start, I think, come into play are Wisconsin, which didn't have much money, I think, before this last year. Michigan State, which I know has stepped up pretty significantly. Our new beat writer, Justin Frommer's a Spartan alum, and I encourage you guys to talk to him. But he kind of laid out some of that for me of like what Michigan State's, how they've stepped up. And then again, you start getting into places that are actually going to start making Nebraska. They're teams that are going to make Nebraska uncomfortable if they're spending more money in over the cap NIL. And so I think what's instructive about your comments is if it's 12, and I mean, I think this stuff can be moved from day to day.
10 through 12.
Right. But if it is, you're starting to talk about teams that don't have the fan bases that Nebraska does. I mean, Wisconsin's got a good fan base, but that fan base is really distracted. Like, it's not Nebraska. There's a lot going on in the state of Wisconsin, including the Packers and the Brewers. And
they want to win. They say, it's tough. When your AD, who has since left, says, yeah, we need better commitment, that's on us. Like, he's feeling the pressure.
Right. So, like the number 2 program in the state of Michigan, not just the number 1 one. So, like, when you start to have that conversation, I wonder if it impresses upon the fan base, and let's be honest, people who have more money than just the rank and file fan, because there's not that much that my daughter's going to go to UNL in the fall. Well, there's nothing my daughter can do, buy student tickets, but there's fans with money, businesses and things like that. And then all of a sudden you start hearing that, and it should make everybody at Nebraska feel like, okay, well, we probably can't catch Ohio State right now. Ohio State's hard to catch because Ohio State's got, Jeremiah Smith's working with Red Bull, And the reason he's working with Red Bull is because he's Jeremiah Smith, and he plays for Ohio State.
Wings.
Right? Yeah, right, it does. And so, like, it's a little bit different. But if you start thinking Wisconsin's ahead of you, Illinois, Michigan State, I would think that everybody over there has got to get on their horse a little bit, because I'll give you an example. I think Wisconsin had a pretty darn good football program just a decade ago. Very, very, very sturdy, very durable program. Played for a couple of Big Ten championships back to back, lost them, but played for them. Was one drive away from playing for the national championship in 2017 or getting in the playoff. And Paul Chryst kind of let that thing go a little bit, and they didn't upgrade things. And they're, Barry Alvarez is one of the GOATs, but I think it slid a little bit in his last 2 or 3 years there. And what happened was, as a result, the recruiting wasn't as good, the players weren't as good. All of a sudden, that offense, which requires really good recruiting for tight ends and running backs, wasn't quite what it had been. And all of a sudden, Wisconsin kind of fell apart. Now they're going to try to rebuild it. But honestly, I would bet against the current coach being there. I think it's probably going to be Jason Eck, who's at North New Mexico and whatever.
That's a great. He's the guy that's going to get the next big job. I don't think he's so good. There's any discussion about it.
And that should again give Nebraska pause, because if he goes to Wisconsin and all of a sudden his NIL is way better than Fickle's, because I don't think Fickle's was very good when he got there, and that guy's there and he can coach, look out, because they can get good again. It might take a couple of years. I really don't think Fickle's going to make it. I think they're going to go 5-7 this year.
Eck can build a staff too.
Right. And in a lot of ways, Rhule and Eck are very similar. I mean, they've had
super familiar with Eck. Let me play a little trivia with you, Sam, because remember, for so long we were afraid to say out loud. I think this was early in my radio tenure. I was like, we can't be afraid to throw ourselves in the same discussion as Wisconsin and Michigan State, and that got some serious pushback. But that's
right.
That's 10, 11, 12. Michigan State was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin was pretty good. I said, so Wisconsin's coming off back-to-back losing seasons. Okay, 5-7 in 24 and 4-8 in 2025. Would you like to take a guess at the last time Wisconsin had back-to-back losing seasons?
90 and 91.
Very close.
91-92.
91-92.
Yeah.
And to your credit, Sam, you're really right, because they won one game in 90.
Yeah, so
but
90,
the most recent was the 92 season. You're right in what you said, though. Do you know how long ago that was?
Ancient. Yeah. Nebraska was playing Colorado for
figure out how to win on grass
in the rain. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a long time. And Wisconsin is following to some degree the same path that Nebraska did when they fired Solich. And although, again, I would argue that they're following a little bit of the path that Chryst and Solich followed together, in part because, and this is my opinion, Frank didn't get the support that he deserved and needed over the top.
Interesting.
In his now, people I think will back me up on that. I wasn't covering Nebraska football,
biased, so I don't. I lack total objectivity when it comes to Coach Solich.
So in 01, 02, 03, I was not really around the program. I was doing other things with my life. I don't think that the last couple of years of Byrne, and certainly the year that Peterson was there, that the support was in place, especially for recruiting infrastructure. So I think the recruiting wasn't there. I think one of the reasons it wasn't there is because they just didn't have the budget. Or there was one year where you might recall that Nebraska's athletic department was actually in the red. back in like the late 90s. I don't know. So anyway, I don't think he got the support that he deserved from over the top. So the thing, I mean, they did go 7-7. That happened, and for a variety of reasons. And then he got let go too early, just like Chris. I think Chris got fired a year too early. A year or two, Chris deserved a chance to make it work. So did Solich. And then the guy they brought in, actually, Luke Fickell was hailed as a better hire than Bill Callahan in every way. Actually, I'm not sure he is a better hire. I think he might be a worse one. Because
I don't have anything negative to say about Fickell, because I felt like during the recruiting process and being up there twice, I was kind of, this just shows you what I don't know and what I do know, but I was kind of scared of Wisconsin. I was like, they were just doing a few renovations. They'd revamped the locker room. The vision was good. I remember specifically when Coach Rhule asked me about Caleb's other options, and I talked about Iowa, and I talked about he had a tremendous amount of respect for both Coach. He still does to this day for both, but talked very highly of Kirk, and especially Coach Fickell. Like, he called him thick and didn't back down from kind of what he was about.
That's good. Yeah, I would say that from afar, his decision making about the offense, and I don't mean him as a person. I think more that Bill Callahan was probably a little bit better than we gave him credit for in some areas, especially recruiting.
No,
because his recruiting ability set up Bo Pelini to start an incredible run, right? Like both first 4 years were awesome.
If Callahan could talk to young people, he'd still be here.
Right. He had a lot of positives. I think Fickell, he
was fine.
Like many defensive coaches, the quarterback position gets away from them, or just the offensive stuff gets away from them a little bit, and they've had some injuries, but that's gotten away from them. And so now, once again, what is this, his fourth year? They're a fourth different quarterback. They hope that this guy's right. I'm really interested to watch Colton Joseph versus Anthony Colandrea. Anyway, Wisconsin now has money, and whether Fickell makes it or not, they're probably going to get better as a program, and they're going to get it. It'll probably take some time, but they're going to ramp back up, and Nebraska's got to be prepared for that. They have to be prepared for Pat Fitzgerald at Michigan State. I don't think he's going to have everything rolling by game 5 when they play Nebraska, but Fitzgerald has won a lot in the league. They think they've got a good quarterback. They do. The Michigan State was the one outlier where they're like, we're not going to go get a transfer. We're going to put all our eggs in the basket of Alessio. I can't pronounce his last name. They put all their eggs in his basket, and they're like, no, we got a guy, and we're just gonna roll with him, and we're not going to go get a transfer. And then they went and got 35 other transfers to put around him. But it'll be really interesting to see what they do. So like all these other programs, if they start getting that over the cap money and they're able to compete with Nebraska for players, they might take a guy or two. And then you're in a tough spot because Oregon's going to get their guys and Ohio State's going to get their guys. And Penn State's going to probably try to recruit in this area, right? I figure they will. Mm-hmm. With Matt Campbell as their head coach. So like those are 3 schools right there that you're gonna see a lot on the trail. And then you've got to battle the other schools on occasion. I don't know that Nebraska and Michigan's recruiting territories are going to overlap that much, but it might overlap more now that Kyle Whittingham is the coach, and he's probably going to go back to Utah and California and try to get players from the West Coast.
Sam, as we're kind of having this discussion about Wisconsin and Nebraska in particular, it leads me to this thing I've been thinking about quite a bit, and it's just sort of the general model of how these programs operate. Because obviously you had, as much as we liked to laugh at it, kind of the amateurism model before, right? Where, yes, certain money was spent on certain things, but it was still largely an amateur model. And then you got the NFL, which is a strictly professional model. You got to make your own money, and that's the money that you have in order to basically spend on your team. And then college football now sort of exists somewhere in the middle of that, and it sounds weird to say this because it's certainly not, but it's almost a nonprofit model where you're just constantly fundraising and not really generating your own revenue in order to support yourself.
Yeah, it's great way to put it.
Like with the stadium and everything Dannon was talking about, with the stadium renovations getting approved, like, can you see college football trying to move to a self-sustaining revenue model within individual programs? Because I'm having the hardest time imagining that the nonprofit fundraising model is going to be sustainable with the way the numbers are going.
I think it's possible to do it. I think it's going to be there will be a handful of schools that can pull that off, but it will be schools with stadiums that are large enough to do it in leagues that have great TV deals. And so that's why I think you hear that conversation about, 32 teams or 64 teams splitting off, maybe 32 teams in one tier, 32 teams in another tier with relegation models that move teams between the tiers. I could see something like that happening. And the relegation piece is more of a pipe dream for sports writers because they're fascinated by that. But it does keep things interesting, right? Like teams can't just go 3-9 every year. If they're going to get relegated, then all of a sudden they find a way to try to win, or they get relegated and other teams get called up. I think there are a handful of schools that will be able to do that. I think Nebraska might be positioned to be one of them. I've always believed that based on the fan base and based on what I believe to be Nebraska's coffers. Like, I think they've got more money than some of these schools do. For example, I know that Louisville's putting a lot out right now, and they're trying to do it. Same school that wrote the paper saying it's unsustainable, but Louisville doesn't have a very big stadium, and Louisville's attention is distracted. If you gave that fan base a choice between football or basketball, I think they'd still take basketball. So, I think there's going to be schools that can pull it off. What Arkansas did in cutting the tennis teams, which I think is unfortunate, if the pushback to Arkansas doing that isn't too strong, I could see other schools starting to do that too. Arkansas is putting it's a test case. When schools tried to do this after COVID and claim that COVID ate into their savings, Iowa tried to cut a swimming program. The backlash was way too strong for any other schools to follow. Mm-hmm. If Arkansas is able to do this, and they're able to do it without too much, without some booster coming in at the last minute and giving the school $4 million, and without the national media getting too worked up, you're going to see other schools cut programs. They'll be like, well, Arkansas did it, so we may as well do it. It's actually really hard to do. There was a run of that happened in the 80s and 90s with wrestling and baseball, because schools, instead of doing the right thing and adding more women's programs, were cutting wrestling and baseball to become Title IX compliant. But we haven't seen a run of sports getting cut like that since then. And that's how I think some athletic departments are going to try to do it. They're going to go down to the NCAA minimum, like some of the SEC schools, and they're going to try to cut sports. And I guess we'll see what happens. Arkansas is the first to try, and if they're successful, then I think you're going to see other schools say, yeah, we're going to do it too.
Sam, let me ask you something. What was kind of the overall sentiment when Troy Dannon alluded to the legalities, or just to the contrary of being able to just donate to grab a player? Like, how'd that land in the room real time?
Well, in the room, there's probably 4 or 5 of us that are really into this stuff. And no, I mean that. Like, there's a lot of people in that room that are there because they're passionate about the stadium. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, the Memorial Stadium project, and it passed 8-0. And there's about 4 or 5 people that I would say are really passionate about this balance between what Rhule's talking about and what Dannon's talking about, and they're not the same thing. And so Mitch asked the question about that, and Dannon's answer, I thought he didn't mince a lot of words.
Sure did. We'll play it later.
Yeah, I guess I would say that the reaction that I got from people who heard it that weren't there was not totally positive. Like, what is he talking about? Like, what why say that? Because there are people that want to help Nebraska athletics in that regard. And I think the word mechanism is a word that I think is gonna catch some momentum, because I think there's a sense of like, well, if the mechanism is there, we're I, Nebraska fan with business, am willing to help. So I think what Damon was talking about are people that I don't know that don't have businesses, or like their business doesn't translate to over the cap NIL, and they want to give money to the stadium project. To be clear, if you give $20 million to the stadium project, just in theory, you're going to get something back more than just legacy. You're going to get good seats. So, like, it's not just give us some money and then go get your tickets. Like, it's going to be there's a relationship there. So you're actually literally getting something for that kind of donation. It's unless you give it anonymously. And with a player NIL, if you gave X.
Oh, we lose him?
Yeah, he might have. I don't think he dropped off. I think he's just a dead spot.
Yeah. He's not there now.
Yeah, hit him back, Shane, real quick. He's only got like a minute or two left.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get Sam back if he's got a couple more minutes for us. But I think what he was going into was, when you're donating to NIL, you don't get anything in return.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of this conversation we had about.
We've been having this, and it's interesting.
It is, and I do think it's a thing that we have to acknowledge, that there's a very different personality type that's giving to NIL, not just business type, which is also a fair point made by Dannon. There's also a different, very, very different personality type. Like, I think it's really easy to wrap your head around, hey, I'm giving to help build this stadium, right? Like, that's a much easier, much more concrete thing. You have to have a little bit more of an abstract thought process to be in the NIL game, I feel like. And he's right. I mean, you do get, I'm sure if you give a certain amount to NIL, they'll give you nice tickets too. But if you're giving to the stadium project, it's a much more linear transaction there.
I think it's the one thing that, Shane, that clip that we played in the open about Dannon thinking Nebraska needs to be first. You have that ready to go?
Yeah, I'll play right now.
Stadiums are the economic engine of a Big Ten athletic department. They just are. And we're about to undertake a project that quite honestly will protect the financial stability that Husker athletics has. And really, it's been said before, we expect to lead. And no one knows where this college athletics world is going to end. There's a lot of tumult, but this is the opportunity for us to lead from a financial standpoint.
I can't help but to think about, on the heels of what Coach Rhule was emphasizing about why can't Nebraska be first when he went into the Jumbotron and Husker Vision
and the strength and conditioning,
conditioning,
and the training table,
where I don't know. I just get the sense, and this isn't. I haven't talked to him since, so I don't have any other insight other than I do find it, I guess, refreshing, reassuring, maybe, that they're on the same page with having that be at the forefront.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait around to be reactionary. Go try to be set the tone.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about that, I think it reminds me of you talking about the Nebraska being an outlier in terms of their historical success, right?
It's 100% accurate. Yeah.
Because there is
a state with 1.3 million people.
Yeah, when you don't have the natural advantages, you can't afford to chase, right? Like there are certain places, like Texas A&M has natural advantages. They can afford to chase, right? Alabama, Georgia, wherever has natural advantages. They can afford to chase what's next rather than decide what's next. They can wait, see what the thing is, and then chase it down. They have the ability to do that because of their natural advantages.
Sam apologizes, by the way. He has to.
Yeah, no problem.
No worries.
No problem.
We appreciate Sam joining us from the Omaha World Herald there. I think there is, and when you're talking about all the innovations that Coach Rhule was listing off before, I remember having this conversation. I don't remember if it was with you or with somebody else, but this is close to a decade ago at this point, right? So we're probably 7 or 8 years ago, where we're trying to figure out the thing that Nebraska could lead on next, right? Nebraska basically invented.
It wasn't going to be Prop 48. It wasn't going to be recruiting African Americans like Devaney did. It wasn't going to be television.
Yeah, right. Nebraska had all these things that they were first on, and that's why Nebraska was an outlier in their success rate. Like whether it was, again, recruiting African Americans, whether it was Prop 48, whether it was facilities at one point was. Now everybody's got facilities, whether it was strength and conditioning. Nebraska basically invented college football strength and conditioning. Now everybody obviously has strength and conditioning. Nebraska was one of the very early ones on the training table and what that looked like for players.
You know,
I
just watched a piece last week, 2 weeks ago. Was it somebody has a walkthrough room where I saw it on social media. They were amazed that you could do walkthroughs via this audio visual illustration and players could actually do it real time on the turf.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Nebraska has that. Like, yeah, it just goes to show like what I think the perception of winning does for like if you're in the results business. Versus if you're like me, okay, so what are you doing to put yourself in position to be successful?
What are you doing in the meantime?
What are you doing in the meantime?
Yeah. You say that all the time.
Yeah, like, because they're just things that you have to do that contribute to winning before you actually get the results of winning. And you can't wait until
you start winning
to do it.
And here's the other thing that I think
that's the tricky part, in my opinion.
Here's the other thing that I think is, and then we can take a break so Rico doesn't kill me. Did
he give you the subtle?
No, I could just see him is getting a little twitchy. Here's the thing that I think is also important to realize. How many teams have we seen have like one good year?
It was Texas Tech. Thanks.
Or
A-Train.
2 good years where they break through and we're like, oh, what's that? Are they going to be a thing? And then they fall back off. That's what happens when you haven't done the work in the meantime. You don't give yourself an opportunity to sustain once you do break through. And so it's not even, I mean, it is about preparing yourself to do the actual winning. But let's say you have.
You think Texas Tech is saying, and what's that gotten us?
No, I don't.
Not yet. Okay.
I think Texas Tech is saying it got us to the college football playoff.
Gotcha.
I think maybe last year they were saying, and what has that gotten us? But now they have the proof and they have the system in place to repeat that. Like I go back to Michigan State, the one random good year they had under Mel Tucker. That was a one-off because they weren't in a place where they could sustain that. They hadn't done the work in the meantime. It was a fluke. And even if you catch lightning in a bottle like they did, they didn't have everything. They didn't have their ducks in a row that they gave themselves an opportunity to capitalize. Same thing happened to Florida State. They go 13-0 one year. It was a one-off. That's all they got, right? Now you're seeing how broken their infrastructure actually is compared to that. It was 2 good years. They went 10 wins, 13 wins back-to-back. That was it, though. Now Mike Norvell is struggling to keep his job. If you haven't done the work in the meantime, that's what happens when you have a good run.
Yeah.
You hit it and then you fall off.
No, and I get it too. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I said I like the infrastructure. You just need a few more football guys in the building.
Yes. But you've got to give yourself a shot once you get those football guys in the building to sustain the winning.
Yeah.
And that's what I think Nebraska is putting themselves in a good place to do. And I get that there's some people who are like, well, just win. You just got to win. You just got to win. Those people, I don't think have ever run any sort of like operation of any scale because the result is not in a vacuum. There are so many things that lead up to that. And then that are required to sustain it, that like, yeah, you can have one good result. I mean, Auburn's a great example of this. How many times do we see Auburn like pop for one good year and then fall off?
You know, a good guy. I get it. We'll take a break. You know, McVay talked about that with the draft because there was a lot of hand wringing about his response, and he was much better the next day.
Yeah, in the moment, not great.
No, and I get it.
Yeah.
You know, but he talked about like basically how you have to prepare when you're not getting the results that you want without feeding into the outside noise, because you had to double down in the process. Because remember, they were about left for dead.
Yeah, after the Stafford Super Bowl, because they had traded all their draft picks away.
And they had no capital.
Yep.
And they were strapped against the cap.
And they had one bad year, and then they were right back.
How he had to double down in the draft and development. I was like, yeah, that's interesting, because you're highly regarded as one of the best in the business.
Absolutely. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We will be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Hyundai. Lease the 2026 Hyundai Kona SE all-wheel drive starting at just $179 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April, or save up to $7,000 off MSRP on the 2026 Hyundai Palisade XRT Pro. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Hyundai.
Yeah, it was fun. We just talked about it in the locker room. We were practicing at Kinetic. We had morning practice, and lifting was a little bit different for us this year, so we had to adjust to a lot, but it was really fun, and it was honestly nice having a little bit of change, and I think it made it go by a little faster, so it was really fun. Yeah, I mean, they're both hard workers, that goes without saying, so I don't need to go on about that, but I think when it comes to T, she's gotten stronger. She's has a lot more range in where she's hitting, so it's really fun to see that, because she's obviously only been here for a year, and I feel like she's learned a lot. And then for Skylar, she had a year to redshirt, and I know she's learned from a lot of us, and she's really taking advantage of that, and I'm really proud of Skylar. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there were a lot of changes, so it was nice to adjust to it and just learn how to work through that with the team, because we're not used to some of the things that we did this year, so I feel like I got a lot out of it, and slowly but surely got a little better. My first week I didn't like my stats, and I didn't like how I was playing, but throughout the spring I definitely improved.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Some of the nuts and bolts, as you all know, the details by now, the south comes down, the west inside the tower, all the seating areas come down immediately upon conclusion of this season, whenever that is. There's not going to be any fancy explosions. We're not dynamiting anything. It will be a very systematic teardown. Just keep in mind one thing. On the west side, that bowl, it may have been dressed up on top. It is 100 years old underneath. No one really knows what we're going to find when we get underneath of there. So everything will be very systematic and very carefully structured in order to make sure that we unpack this thing in a way that doesn't cause us additional heartache.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's not the most encouraging thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's just hilarious. You know what it made me think of? It made me think of when they tore up the grass.
Oh.
And what they found out there.
Yeah.
Which delayed the deal.
There's like, we forgot this is a very old building.
Yeah, a lot of stuff was buried under there. They were like WTH.
Did they find Hoffa?
Oh. Anywho,
they just found Jimmy. No, it's fine. I do think that part of it's interesting. You know, I follow this random. I see this random account on TikTok, and they're like renovating some house in Rome, and it's like it's like on top of like ancient Roman construction. And so every time they dig into anything, they're just like, oh, like the whole thing is a mess. And obviously we're only dealing with 100 years here, not a couple thousand, but yeah, there's I am really interested to see what they're going to find as they start unearthing some things in that stadium.
Yeah, it was quite the delay. A lot of things were used for disposal that I don't think they knew were under this.
Yeah. It's things you don't think about, right? Where you're just like, oh.
No.
Things that make you go, huh? No, that's a fair point. I do think it's an interesting part of this, and I'm fascinated to see what it actually looks like once they're kind of doing it. But that's part of the reason I asked Sam that question about sort of the financial models, right? Because we're in a weird no man's land right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know everybody's like, it's professional football now and blah, whatever. Like, I understand people are getting paid now, so there's a level of professionalism there. But in terms of the structure of how the sport is financed, we are so very far away from a professional model. Like, this is not how professional teams operate. They don't go out and beg their fans for money every year when they have to go get players.
Yeah. So, and also there's a salary cap, and there's
structure.
There's
There's roster management. There's salary caps. There's minimum spends. There's also one.
It has that. I think the thing that's probably the most aggravating, it has professional components to it, but it's so haphazard. It looks chaotic.
Yes. And so I am, and I don't think this is in any way sustainable. I don't know anybody that does. And so the question is, what model does it land on in terms of how the finances of this thing works? And obviously we're talking about more than just football. It's mostly football, men's basketball, and women's basketball is coming up. Baseball is starting to have some of these things too. But then you have all the Olympic sports that these schools carry. That I'm afraid Sam is right on a lot of them. I do think a lot of these schools are just going to end up cutting those programs.
We talked about that a couple years ago, and I was like, I don't know if you could do that. And you're like, oh, what's the alternative?
Yeah, I mean, they cost you money, and
you're going to get into opportunities and being denied opportunities, which will open yourself up to, I don't know, maybe litigation. But at the end of the day, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
Yeah, and as long as you're in Title IX compliance and meet the minimum requirements of whatever the NCAA requires for X number of sports.
Yeah, I don't think it was a coincidence that women's flag football was the first to be added.
Yeah, no, and I think
you're getting ready to play the long game.
I think Nebraska views that as a revenue generating opportunity.
Getting ready to play the long game,
right? And that's a thing that we're going to have to try and figure out. But interesting conversation there with Sam. We appreciate him joining us and with the time that he did have there. But I don't know, man. It's gonna.
Did you read I thought Evan Bland had an interesting deal on baseball, right? Because you're trying to plan ahead, so you're not playing catch up.
Oh, yeah.
And in the article, they're fully prepared to be hosting.
Oh, about the putting in for the host site, because people know you have to apply.
Yeah, fully prepared to be hosting.
Yeah,
one of those top 16 sites. So it's like, all right. So you're gonna commit a little to make a little, which actually to probably make a fair amount.
I would imagine.
And even that, like if you look at Haymarket, it definitely needs some touching up.
It does.
But I mean, with the alcohol sales that they've been able to generate, and then the attendance, it's fascinating.
Haymarket's interesting because I still think it's a pretty decent place to watch a game, but some of those revenue generating opportunities it's outdated for, right?
Yeah.
And so I will be interested to see if that comes up sometime in the near future. I know baseball isn't typically a revenue generating sport in this part of the country, but I do think it could be at Nebraska. Like we care about baseball enough for it to generate revenue, right? If you
100%.
had the facility and everything in place. I do hope Nebraska gets to host because I'm fascinated to see what it looks like now. Because it's been when's the last time Nebraska hosted a regional? It's been a hot minute. Let's see if I can.
14.
I was thinking about a decade, so that sounds right.
That's a little bit of a blur.
Let me see here.
14, maybe.
So this is an AI answer. I don't know if it's right. It says 2008 was the last time when they lost to UC Irvine. Because that was the end of their like really good run of hosting, like 01, 02, 03, 05, 06, 08. That's what AI is telling me. I don't know if that's accurate. But so that's I'll be interested. We're in a very different environment. I'd be interested to see what that looks like.
Yeah. How about if like they don't?
Yeah. What
and
the
you end
travel
up
looks like?
Fudge. I mean, could you wind up in Lawrence?
If you end up close, like Lawrence is not going to enjoy that.
I mean, could you wind up in Kansas?
Yeah, I think so.
But if they're that close to hosting, they're not going to
pick Lawrence over Lincoln. I wouldn't think.
I don't think so.
I don't know how you could.
I don't think so.
I'm not super familiar with Kansas's baseball setup, but I can't imagine it's as quality as Nebraska's. I wouldn't think. I don't know. Have you been down there to watch baseball at all?
Yeah. So their stadium at one point was right next to the baseball stadium. Remember I told you it gave me like public park vibes?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if that was that one or not.
It acts a lot like
so
what used to be Tranquility. Which, by the way, what is that going to be?
Dude, they completely gutted that.
They just dumped all that money in to change the surface in the parking lot in the fields. What's it going to be now?
I have no idea. Are they getting rid of those soccer fields? Or I didn't know if they were just redoing all of them.
Well, they're non-existent.
Right, but I mean, like, are they not rebuilding more fields? That was my question.
I have no idea.
Because
I was shocked.
Yeah, it's wild. I drive by there quite a bit. It is because that's not too far from me. Like I have no idea. It's just been kind of a dirt patch for a minute now.
We hit AA Ron and I hit a new a little spot over there.
Did you?
And so I had to go that way, and I was like, man, I haven't been over here forever. It's
because that used to be your stomping grounds.
Yeah, it's dirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm over there a lot. One of the places that I play tennis is right near there. And so I drive past there quite a bit, and I have no idea what they're doing.
They went from redoing the whole facility to having it be like a Christmas tree dumping thing to redoing the parking lots to nothing. He said, this is Chucky Chuck. He said the soccer fields will be ran by the State Youth League at Tranquility, moving to turf. Huh.
Oh, okay. So they are redoing soccer fields. They're just moving everything. That makes sense though. So it's easier to play. So it's more durable to play on.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it's good for you, but if you're running it by
the biggest issue was parking. Getting in and out on 120th to get in there.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. Maybe they'll widen that road a little bit for us too.
I don't.
Because that's right across the street from Keystone too, right?
Yeah. It's a little further.
Down.
It's right across the street from the Knolls.
Yeah. You ever play ball over there at Keystone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got our teeth kicked in over there. Well, I was a Y guy. And
was that Suburban?
And Hillside and Keystone were like the good baseball programs until I got to middle school when it was the Gladiators.
Yeah, so Gladiators.
We would go over there as like a youth team. We thought we had a pretty good group of guys. And we'd go over there and play Keystone's best. And they'd be like, yeah, no. not there yet.
Listen, every once in a while you get a little rude awakening. It's all right. It's good for you.
Not there yet.
Kind of shakes you clean. That's DB. I'm Ravi. We'll be back with Chad Forbes, talk a little more NFL draft coming up after this.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Chevrolet. Lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT for just $319 a month, $0 down with your first payment due at signing, or save $2,500 off MSRP. Spring on these deals before they're gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Chevy Silverado RST for just $579 a month, $0 down with your first payment due at signing, or save $9,000 off MSRP. Get to Edwards Chevrolet today. Together, let's drive.
Well, I felt like I was stealing their moment because I said senior day. I said, so it just became senior citizen day. So they laughed. I made them laugh, so that was good. But it still, it meant a lot. I think, as we've talked about the whole week, in fact, even the article that you wrote, there's a lot of mutual love and respect for all of us with one another, and I felt that again. And, I can't go any farther without saying, Lori Sipple's been with me every step of the way, every single game on that field, Coach. She's been a part of it, and that's also a big deal. And she wore the jersey, so I feel like she's as much a part of this day as I am.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We'll be joined in just a few minutes by Chad Forbes. You can find his work at NFL Draft Bites, and we'll dive into a little bit more of the NFL draft as we kind of put a bow on things here. But DB, in the meantime, while we are waiting for Chad, your guy, which we talked a little bit on Friday, that you would ask several of our draft experts about. I think you're I don't know if it's one of your favorites, but you brought him up several times.
This ought to be good.
Miss Mansour Delane.
Delane, yeah.
I was a little I couldn't figure out how I felt about, like, it felt weird for
them
Chiefs to move up.
You gave me pushback Friday morning.
And so I was reading more, more kind of reactions and stuff to see if I was out on an island on certain things. And there are certain people that were going like, hey, they really needed a corner. Like he was the clear best corner in the draft. And there was some buzz that some other people might take him. So they moved up and did what they had to do. I just also look at, I don't know if like positionally they felt like they had better opportunities to get defensive linemen and things like that some of their other needs later in the draft quality wise. What did you think? I know you liked Delane the best in terms of the corners. What did you think that drop off was?
Not Terrell going as late as he did.
Right.
Like not at all.
But significant enough that move made sense to you?
Yeah, I don't mind. Like the Chiefs, listen, if they fix the offensive line to some degree, and it might be more shuffling than the acquisition, they'll be right there, right? Because I think Kenneth Walker is really good.
It's a good pickup for them.
You're going to get Mahomes. All reports say he's coming back, to start that season. And defensively, listen, you've proven your defensive back. You still have Chris Jones playing at a high level. I mean, the Chiefs, I don't know if they'll chief like they've been chiefing, but I didn't have any problems with where they got Delane because you didn't have to give up much.
I think part of it for me is I really wanted them to draft Reuben Bain at 9. I think that's part of, like, I had gotten that in my head that was an opportunity for them.
I like our Mason Thomas. I told you if they get the best version of Peter Woods.
Yeah. And they addressed those spots later, right? They addressed the defensive line later. And
Andy Reid runs a tough camp. Like they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
I think I just am so high on Bain that I was like, hey, that's a guy that can 100% make a difference for you.
I love Bain, so I'm happy that he's in Tampa
spot.
Because that's where he can actually flourish, especially with a guy like Bowles.
Yeah.
He's going to get that front four ready. And as a Bain fan, I prefer it.
Yeah, you just situationally, you think he's got a better opportunity to succeed there?
Yeah.
When I saw them trade up, and maybe this is partially just on what my perception of the situation was, I thought they were trading up because they thought they could get Reese at 6, and then the Giants got him right before that. That was the perception of how it played out for me. And so I think that was part of my hesitation, is that not that they panicked, but that they got their second choice in trading up. And that could just be all fabricated in my head, to be fair. Is when I saw them go from 9 to 6, I was like, oh, they're going to try and get Reese because he had fallen by that point. And so that might be part of my issue with the Delane pick, is I thought they were going to get Reese, which I don't even love. You know what I mean? So I don't know why that bothered me so much. It just, the perception of it made it feel like that they got their second choice after trading up.
It's a weird division because you can clearly see what Philly wants to do. I thought, listen, as a Steelers guy, it pains me to say anything positive about Dallas.
Sure, that was a great pick with Dallas.
I honk for Dak, and what they did defensively in terms of revamping. Because you got Jalen in the offseason, you added a safety piece. You have a defensive coordinator now coming over from Philly that understands how to use secondary pieces.
Did you like Malachi Lawrence out of UCF?
Yeah, I think he's what they need, especially with Quinnen Williams and Gary. And I think They're not going to be back-to-back bottom in the league in terms of scoring. I mean, they were giving up 70% of the touchdowns. 70% of their red zone trips turned into touchdowns. Dallas is fascinating.
Yeah, so they went.
The league is better when they're good anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't have any. I thought they had a heck of a draft. I can definitely see. Like they got Barham in the third round.
Dude,
are you going to situationally pass rush him? I think you can with how you rebuilt that front.
Oh, I think you can. Yeah.
So why can't they get after the quarterback?
I looked, man. It kind of hurt me a little bit because I actually think Barham's really good, and
I actually like D Winters too. So
they went. Didn't they draft 3 edges?
Yeah.
They went Lawrence, Barham in their back-to-back picks, so that was end of 1, end of 3, and then they got LT Overton out of Bama in the 4th round. And like I like a lot of the stuff they did. Like,
But I also like with the Giants. It's a fascinating division. I get it. Washington had a guy fall in their lap, right? I mean, we talk about Downs getting to Dallas. I don't think that they thought. I don't think they thought that was going to happen for Washington.
Yeah.
So they'll take it, but that's the team in that division that I kind of worry about. I get it. You're worried. You're thinking, oh man, if Jaden Daniels is healthy,
it's a big if.
We're going to look a lot different.
It's a big if,
and
though.
Sure, but I feel like everybody else got significantly better. I just don't know how much a healthy Jaden Daniels, given what they already had in their roster, because you still have to be able to get after the passer. Did they do enough for that division?
Yeah,
because the Giants upgraded in coaching too.
Yeah, with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
So you didn't love Malachi Fields though, right? Was that the Notre Dame receiver you didn't?
Yeah,
love?
I didn't love him. But where they got him, I don't have any problems.
Yeah, in the third round. That's
I don't have any problems with that.
So they went Arvell Reese, Maigoa from. Am I saying that right? Maigoa. Yeah. From Miami at offensive tackle at 10, and so they addressed 2 huge areas of needs right there, right off the bat. Do you like Hood?
I do.
Okay. Cornerback out of Tennessee,
especially where they got him.
Yeah, early second.
My heart broke for McCoy.
Man, he just kept
at
falling.
my heart. I don't know what the second health issue was, but
yeah, the medicals did him dirty.
But to their Shane, your Raiders, I thought had a fantastic draft.
Let's look at the Raiders draft.
I thought the Raiders had a fantastic.
Going all D like that.
I thought they had a fantastic.
I know.
Draft.
Do I remember right that you like the Arizona back guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Both those guys.
Oh. I think I like what the Raiders did. They had a lot. I'm not going to call them a dark horse in that division, but I do think they'll be markedly improved.
So they went obviously Mendoza.
I think getting Stukes where you got him, some had a 1st-round grade on him. I don't know. I like what the Raiders did.
You like the flyer on McCoy in the 4th?
Yeah.
Because that's
if healthy, that's a 1st-round guy.
So that's what we were talking about with the medicals on a guy like Corleone, right? Yeah. You go from a 1st-round grade to a 4th-round grade, or a 4th-round grade to an undrafted grade. So that was the issue with McCoy there.
Is the guard they got good?
Yeah, especially where you got him.
Okay.
How about Miami getting Rodriguez where they did? Rodriguez has a chance to be a star. I mean, Miami's roster has a lot of work to do because that
was early second, right?
All new.
Yeah.
But
they had a lot of picks, though.
Fudge, they had 13, 13, 12 or 13?
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Miami's draft.
You hate Proctor, though. Not hate him, but you're not a fan of Proctor, though.
So I said he's just the ultimate boomer bust guy. And for the Steelers, I didn't want a boomer bust.
Sure. But for Miami, it's like, might as well. You have to.
I mean, you get an engaged, fit, 320-ish pound Proctor.
Super athlete at that size.
I mean, you got a chance, but there were a lot up. Now, he was dramatically better the second. And I'm a little jaded just at what some of the Iowa guys thought about him coming back then leaving again. About how much he likes football. So I have that in my head a little. But
I'm kind of, for a guy that I don't have any attachment to, I am rooting for Jacob Rodriguez to be successful.
Yeah, I know Miami's right away thinking Zach Thomas.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, run around, make plays. Everybody tells you what he isn't. But the thing about Rodriguez is he tested way better than I think anybody thought.
Yeah, I don't think people thought he was going to have the athletic profile.
He's a good athlete.
Yeah, I was going to see what his combine was because he had a good day.
Yeah, he was fast. He's explosive. His standing broad was good. Like I don't have any no problems with that.
I thought they I just tend to like guys that, like, he went through a very circuitous route to get to where he was, right? Quarterback at Virginia, walks on at Texas Tech. Like, I like those guys. They're like, hey, yeah, I'm just going to figure it out. I appreciate this. Yeah, so he went 4.57, 38.5 for 10-foot broad.
Yeah.
Like, that's
yeah, that dog would definitely hunt.
His athleticism score, he checked out as the sixth most athletic linebacker at the combine. And between his production score and athleticism,
his RAS score was pretty good too.
Yeah, I don't have the RAS score right in front of me, but that's a guy that I think people thought his athletic profile was gonna be way worse than it was.
Shane, where are we at with?
Still waiting. It's going right to voicemail. So, but he's up and about. So,
okay.
Maybe he's on another call right now and trying to finish up. I don't know.
Katsky says 2027 draft will be one for the ages. I know we do this a lot.
Why?
I'm waiting.
Jeremiah Smith, the quarterbacks.
Can I? Okay.
No, before I comment, I just want to know, like.
Yeah, I don't know what in reference. I don't know what in reference that
the quarterback pool on paper could be good.
Yeah, on paper, people thought it was good this year too, until they actually started playing.
Yeah, Sellers and Moore should have been coming out.
I mean, people had Lenore Sellers as like the number 1, number 2 overall pick.
Yeah,
and the guy that they were switching him with got drafted in the 7th round.
But you do get another year of experience with those quarterbacks.
Sure, Sellers might end up being a good quarterback in the draft this year. We don't know.
You've got
Dante
Manning.
Moore.
You've got Moore.
Moore would have been a top couple pick this year, most likely.
Depends on how you feel what's happening in Washington.
So there's a lot of opportunities to have a good quarterback draft this one. I gotta say though, with the Jeremiah Smith thing, I have zero interest in taking a wide receiver as high as people are talking about taking him.
Well, if it's the Jets, then they're taking Arch Manning.
That's fine.
I mean, the Dolphins may come back they may come back and get like Jeremiah Smith, but you got, I don't know. I mean, Leonard Moore's got to be. He's a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
At Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a top 5 pick.
I would think so.
And this is all preliminary.
Yeah, speculative. But there's I think there's.
Shoot, CJ Carr may be the best quarterback coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, if you believe the reports about the spring game.
And if you are wanting a guy that, Dave Bartu.
Or how good you think Gooseby is at Texas.
Bartu's been doing this. He's been on kind of a run. Our friend Dave Bartu over at Matrix Analytical. He's been hammering the Ty Simpson pick for the Rams because they're all about data, right? They all go by the data. And he goes, hey, no quarterback with his profile statistically has succeeded in this century, right? So basically since 2000. And so I'm fascinated by that. I was looking at I was watching a TikTok yesterday and I wish I had it saved, but he was talking about the breakout age of wide receivers versus their early production.
Oh, I saw that.
The guys that are good early, even at whatever level, end up being good early. They don't need the experience and being older and bigger and physically more imposing than everyone else to be good. They're just good wide receivers. So I thought that was really interesting in looking at some of these guys.
You know what's going to be a good case study?
What's that?
A guy like Ryan Williams.
Yeah. Good early.
We'll see.
Really good early.
I'll be able to put that to the test.
Smith would be on that one as well. Yeah. Really good early. And then there was a couple he was worried about. I think one of the only guys that he liked in that range was ironically the guy from Ole Miss that the 49ers got, because he broke out pretty early. It was basically I
wonder what they do with a guy like Cam Coleman.
Oh, that's
coming out next year for Texas.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Because
Well,
I don't know.
I think wide receivers are tough. I mean,
you've said that. Yeah.
So Texas could legitimately, if you depending on what you think about Arch Manning, you got Trevor Gooseby, you got Cam Coleman, Colin Simmons.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas could have an Ohio State-esque.
Yeah, like a high,
because they had 5 out of 11, right?
Yes,
Ohio State.
I believe so. It was 4 out of 7 at one point. I think it
Texas on paper could get 4 out of 10.
So they, I said 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 11. The first 4 out of the 11 first picks were Ohio State. Downs, Styles, Reese, and Tate.
Yeah, they ain't bad.
Oh, that's pretty good. That'll probably get you to win a lot of games.
I'll be curious to see, because Oregon probably has the most loaded roster. Which, by the way, we didn't talk about Dylan or Tinneman going to the Bears.
Oh yeah. There's some people that really like where the Bears are at.
How are they not going to be good?
I think that's kind of the consensus is they're just in a place where they're going to end up being like, assuming Caleb
For
Williams'
sake, I hope so.
Continues to develop. Although it would be incredibly ironic if Caleb Williams is what finally leads the Bears to be good.
Yeah.
We all know his feelings on.
Remember, I said, hey, if he ends up being good, man, are you ever going to come around? No. All right, buddy. That's fine.
Man of principle. I appreciate that. They got Tinneman in round 1, and then a lot of people
and
like
not
that
till 25 either. I thought, most people thought because he had jumped McNeil Warren, who I actually like.
He had gotten a lot of kind of late run that he might have gotten earlier than that. Logan Jones, which people love at that center spot in round 2, like they had a pretty good draft again. Like they've low key strung together a few really good draft classes.
Yeah, and this is lofty, but remember I was talking about Bryce Vignes from Pavia last week.
Yeah.
He gives me, if he plays offensive line, that's the comp that I give him is Logan Jones.
Oh, that's a compliment for sure.
So store that one in the Rolodex.
Put it right back there.
Store that one in the Rolodex.
I'm gonna put that right here. That's where you keep Kenny, but that's where I'm gonna keep little bits of information that you tell me.
Headley, did you like what the Titans did? Somebody was gonna get Tate. I don't know. I'm not one of those guys that says, well, did you need to get him at 4 if somebody else was going to get him in the top 10? Because that was when the Titans picked.
Yeah, my bigger issue is if you're going to hire Robert Saleh as your defensive coordinator, you should probably let him pick Sonny Styles there.
No, because you got to help Cam Ward, who actually showed you he could play.
I liked a lot of the wide receivers in this draft. I think they could have gotten somebody else later.
You need to get your franchise quarterback some weapons.
Okay.
Did you see what they did in the offseason defensively? Like that was a solid offseason.
I'm just saying, if you get his new version of Fred Warner, that changes your entire franchise.
I'm not disagreeing that Styles is legit. I'm a Sonny Styles guy.
I get
I'm
that
just
Warner
saying
is
the way that they did their offseason defensively, you had to get Cam Ward some weapons.
Had to throw him a bone.
Yeah, because you basically attack free agency defensively.
All right.
At some point you had to get him some weapons.
I couldn't get once somebody brought up, because I'll be honest, I had forgotten for a minute that Saleh went to Tennessee. Once somebody brought up hey, when Sonny Styles started getting projected possibly of going to Tennessee, and they're like, hey, this could be Saleh's new Fred Warner, I was like, oh, that's hard to say no to.
I think people are kind of sleeping on that. I don't know. Maybe they're just anti-Kyler Murray, and I love Kyler Murray too much. I kind of leaving the Vikings for dead.
What do we have for the Vikings here?
I like Minnesota.
You liked.
I didn't know so much about Banks, but I liked him early enough after watching the All-Star Combine. I was like, God, remember I asked Brian Roberts and those guys, I'm like,
yep.
Banks is coming off a heck of a weekend against NFL talent. Did he play enough at Florida for you guys to like?
Yeah, Edwards wasn't in on him.
No,
but that's I mean, I would consider that a boomer bust pick.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
with Caleb Banks early.
Yeah. So you got Tate. You've got so you have Carnell Tate. You have Ridley, one more year locked up.
Mm-hmm.
You got Wan'Dale Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably feel like you addressed
weapons for Cam Ward,
at least to some degree, right? And then defensively, you got Falk, who
they have Pollard too, don't they?
Yeah,
and he was low key pretty good last year.
You got Anthony Hill.
Yeah,
I still can't believe what happened to Perkins and what's his buckets from LSU who went undrafted.
Yeah.
Peyton, which I'm like,
Patrick Peyton.
Yeah, I'm like, not draft. I mean, 2 years ago it was lock stock.
This is why I kind of think this was a much better draft than we think.
We'll see how it ages. I'm not going to give you a ton of pushback. I just was surprised at all the doom and gloom over this year's draft without really, well, we don't have this in this year's draft. We don't have this. We don't like, oh, how do you know? I watch guys like Bain who people didn't love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you can't put a price tag on being motivated.
Yeah, I'll put my chips with Bain. I'll take my chances.
I get it. You didn't love
I like
Downs
too.
measurables because he didn't give you
we don't
any.
even know what they are.
But he played dime. He played star. He played in the nickel.
And I like him at 11. The reason we had pushback is because people were projecting him at like 4 for a while.
Yeah.
Right? Like 11's a good spot.
Dallas, they did
that's the right spot to take Caleb Dallas.
They did the right thing.
I was hoping against hope that Messidor would fall to the 49ers.
I know. No, he's old, but he's got a good squad.
I would say now he's with the Chargers. Like that and Bain, and I know I'm weirdly obsessed with the Miami Edge guys, but that and Bain were two of the better picks of the first round. Like those are great spots for both of those dudes.
Yeah, I think the guy that I really liked, where I was trying to figure out kind of what he was going to do, was from that same team, was Keontae Scott. And the Buccaneers didn't get him until 116.
Yeah,
Keontae Scott is nice.
That whole defense was filthy.
Tampa's intriguing, and they're in a very winnable division, clearly. If they don't wet the bed the last third of the season.
Oh, yeah. Like they should have been in a much better position.
Now, Baker played poorly, but I mean, they were pretty injury riddled too.
How you feel about my guy Carson Beck to Arizona?
I don't trust Arizona.
I don't either.
But I don't mind Beck.
That's an interesting spot. And weirdly, one of the only guys you could get in the third round that you're like, yeah, I probably could start him day one because he's played so much football.
Do you like this? You got Jacob Parrish playing a nickel.
Mm-hmm.
You got Benjamin Morrison, Winfield, Tyke Smith, Zion McCullum.
Okay.
Up front, you'll play with Anzalone, Ruben Bain, Ashawn Robinson, Vita Vea, and Elijah Roberts.
Yeah, that'll probably work.
It's pretty good.
That'll probably work.
It seems pretty good on paper.
My only concern with
then you got McMillan, Igbuka, Godwin, Bucky Irving, and Gainwell, and Baker Mayfield.
Health is was a big issue with that offense last year. It was weird when it seemed like they got healthy, they got worse. But I'm going to chalk some things up to chemistry and things like that. I do wonder, like, we saw the very best version of Baker Mayfield with Liam Cohen before he went to the Jaguars, right? Who I think a lot of people think had a very bad draft. Mm-hmm. But I do wonder
by taking like a little early on board.
Yeah. Well, and just I don't think people liked a lot of their picks, but
they're ready to win now.
Yes. Like they want guys that are
like I could see people saying that about Denver, but Denver's ready to win now.
I do wonder, like my only hesitancy with Tampa Bay is on the offensive side where Baker did have that drop off in the second half. I don't know if that's like the Cohen effect starting to wear off. I don't know. I'm pressing pause a little bit on the Buccaneers offense.
So did you understand the Jonah Coleman thing when they already have RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins in Denver?
No, I did not. I'll be honest. Let me look at their draft as a whole real quick, because off the cuff, I don't think I love Denver's draft.
But they're built to win.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to win right away. I still listen. I'm not.
I get it. The Bo Nix thing.
I'm not sold on Bo Nix. I'm not. And I have a hard time going to like where Denver was drafting. They weren't going to have a lot of opportunities, right? They don't have a pick until the 3rd round. And then they've like 3 of their 8 picks are in the 7th, right? So like you just have a weird draft if you're Denver. I'm not a believer in Bo Nix, and then you've got the weirdness between him and Sean Payton in the offseason. Like, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
You know, like it seems like it's sort of fizzled, but like, did they squash it? Are they just ignoring each other? Like, what's happening here?
Do you think Cooper DeJean, and we don't really know because Downs didn't test, you think Cooper DeJean is a better athlete than Caleb Downs?
Yes. I bet his measurables are better than Caleb Downs. I would guess body control too. Like the way he moves is.
They use DeJean everywhere in Philly.
Yeah, I would.
And I'm just curious to see, could you use Downs similarly? But I do think DeJean is a better
athlete. Yeah, I do. That's not to say you couldn't use Downs that way, because I don't think Downs is a bad athlete by any means.
Did I send you Ben McCollum? Giving those guys buckets.
Yeah, yeah.
More unassuming hooper than Ben McCollum?
That's got to be up there, because that dude, I'll be honest, if that dude rolls up to your pickup game, you're like, well, I hope he can shoot.
I got to send. Hey, do you know where that is? You have got to send that to Rico.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find it here for a second.
Because I can't remember who we sent that to.
I think that was with you, me, and Jacob and Matt, but I'll find it here. Let's take a quick break here. Shane, let's figure out what's going on with Chad, or if we need to punt him or whatever. But we'll get that video and we can show Ben McCollum giving guys buckets.
I was floored.
That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be right back here as we wrap up the show on Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's the declaration of deals at Edwards Jeep and Ram Village Point in Council Bluffs. Lease the 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn 4x4. Returning lessees just $389 a month. Non-returning $449 a month. 0 down. Shift into spring with deals this good. Only at Edwards Jeep and Ram. Or lease the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sport S 4x4. 0 down. Returning lessees just $319 a month. Non-returning $369 a month. Don't wait. Declaration of deals won't last. Get to Edwards Jeep and Ram at Village Point in Council Bluffs today.
I think just the main thing is what we've been working on in practice, or some of the players that have had great springs that translated into matches, and that's not always easy to do because you can play great practice, but when you're in a match type environment, that can go away. So it's my biggest takeaway. I was really proud of the players that really stepped up in practices, performed on the 3 matches we had. But yeah, by far her best. We weren't really planning on playing her on the right a ton, with Virginia kind of feeling sick. It's like, let's put her out there. She's trained some on the right, but probably a little more on the left. So for her just to be confident and go for it, I thought it was awesome to see. And, that's what we need her to do, especially this year, is kind of be a utility and be comfortable on both sides of both pins.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Reminding you, give our friends over at Next Gen Mail Medical a call, 402-614-9700. Now, they might not be able to get you a relative athletic score like our guy Cooper DeJean here, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but they can maybe get Rico back up to top speed. He was talking about how fast do you think Rico can run right now? Miles per hour.
18 mile an hour.
You think what was that your number? Is that what you said, Rico? You think 18? Yeah, he thinks he can get to 18. He said
that's pretty
good. I said I can get to 15. I'm sure of it, but I think I can flirt with 18.
Well, if he wants to do more than flirt with 18, if he wants to Mike Vrabel close that deal, then we can get him over to Next Gen Mail Medical, 402-614-9700. However you're feeling, if you aren't feeling your best, they can get you all situated. I did want to talk about, because we were having this conversation both in the chat and on the show here about Cooper DeJean and what kind of athlete he was versus a guy like Caleb Downs. Here's just frame of reference. All right. Off his pro day, because he hadn't been medically cleared for the combine yet, and he only got cleared for medically cleared for his pro day 2 weeks before he went out and did this. He put up a 9.89 relative athletic score on a scale of 10. That is 28th overall out of almost 2,500 cornerbacks measured from 1987 to 2024. He had the highest RAS score of any defensive back in the 2024 class. So saying that he's a better athlete than Caleb Downs is not saying
it's no slight to Downs.
Caleb Downs is a bad athlete. It's saying Cooper DeJean is one of the best athletes we've seen come out as a defensive back in the last 38 years, basically, because that's when the data goes back to with the RAS score. So that's actual numbers. If anybody's interested, he went 4.42 in the 40. He went 38.5 in the vert. He went 10.4 in the broad jump, all at over 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds tall. So take that for what you will. The man's a hell of an athlete. So when we say, I think he's a better athlete than Caleb Downs. I think Caleb Downs is still a good athlete.
I don't even think that's.
I just don't think he's one of the top.
It's not a hot take.
30 athletes to come out of defensive backs in the last 38 years.
It's not a hot take. I think but to the versatility point on how he can be used, especially with the familiarity that Dallas gets from their defensive coordinator coming over from Philly, is he's got Quinshawn or he's got Michael and Cooper DeJean as good as guys to use, right? It's like, okay, we can use him like this. And with Dallas's front and their versatility, plus you got Jalen, they made enough additions where if you can tackle out of it, play him.
Yeah,
because he's played the star position. He's played the true nickel.
Yep.
He's played deep hole in dime. He's played in dime.
Yeah. No, it's a great pick for Dallas.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal pick for Dallas.
And here's the thing. It's almost to the three teams that brought him in for top 30s. I think the thing that they were enamored with Downs was he was explaining their defenses.
Yeah, the teams that he was being interviewed by.
The team.
Yeah. He wasn't explaining his defense at Ohio State.
Yeah, so
he was explaining the defense of the places he was visiting.
Yeah, I don't know, KP. I don't know. Like, he says he's a better player. He might be. He might be. I don't know. The thing about it is DeJean has an advantage because I've seen him in the pros.
That also wasn't the question.
So he
might end up being the better player.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I'm not saying that.
He's a really good football player.
I'm not talking about that at all.
He's a really good football player.
I'm just saying, like, I didn't think it was a hot take to say DeJean was a better athlete.
Yeah. He's a really good football player. Obviously a good athlete as well. That wasn't exactly the discussion there. We aren't going to get Chad Forbes. It seems like we are having trouble tracking him down. But I did want to play that video. Do you have it in there, Rico? The video that you were talking about with Ben McCollum, just because.
What's that, little boy? I'm just training here during the off season. Oh, you are? Okay. All right.
Like
I'm a little rusty.
Ben McCollum put Cooper DeJean in the blender.
Yeah, and I mean, you can obviously see the athleticism there of DeJean as well, but like
McCollum's he's 41.
Yeah, I think he's in his 40s.
He's in his 40s
for sure. Let me see here. We'll get an age. 45. So I think that was last year, though. So 44, but mid 40s.
Yeah, dude's filthy
against one of the top 30 defensive back athletes in the last 38 years.
I don't know. I don't know about the pacemaker. I'm sure Coach Hoiberg would give Coach McCollum buckets, but I don't know. Coach Hoiberg and he's not handling it like that.
He's not. I don't. It does matter if you're still playing. You know what I mean? Like I get Hoiberg's ceiling as a basketball player was higher than McCollum's. I don't know if one-on-one he's still getting after it like that. You know what I'm saying? I certainly don't think he's giving buckets to Cooper DeJean. That basically would be the equivalent, like athletically at least. It'd be pretty close to the equivalent of Fred Hoiberg going out there and giving Deshaun Singleton buckets.
Yeah, he didn't test Cope. Like, I think dude was basically like roll tape.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't either. I do know that there just weren't that many guys in the last basically 40 years that have tested better than DeJean.
But you know, the funny thing is for a guy like Downs not testing, not giving you any real measurables, there wasn't anybody that didn't think he was top 3 players in the draft.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that from not even guys I don't even really, even Kuiper was like.
Basically the consensus across the board were the top guys in the draft were in some order.
And he has 2 really, really, really good defensive minds vouching for him.
Yeah.
And Patricia and
Knowles.
Nick Saban.
Well, yeah, that's fair. I think people generally are like, yeah, that Saban guy knows what he's talking about. And then he also played under Knowles the year before too, right? So
yeah, I don't know what people think of Knowles, to be honest.
Fair. Yeah.
I mean, not
the same degree as those other
guys.
guys,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
He's obviously been pretty successful a couple different spots, but
yeah. Oh yeah. But for some reason, I feel like, and this could just be in my own head or anecdotally, I feel like some of the luster was lost off Knowles after he left kind of unceremoniously.
It was. There was.
I don't necessarily, because there was the consternation between he and your defensive line coach. But I don't think that had anything to do with his coaching process. I just feel like we don't hold him in. We don't. And plus, what
hold
Patricia
him in the same
did,
regard as we do with some of these people.
I mean, they were gaudy. Were they giving up less than 7 points a game? Like what Patricia did with that defense was better than the previous year. So I think he just kind of gets overshadowed.
I do think a lot of times we also look at and we do this like, well, I mean, look at the guys that he had to coach. Like, we kind of dismiss sometimes a guy's prowess when we're like, well, yeah, look at all the talent. Anybody can do that. Where that's not the case. Not everybody can do it. We've had that conversation.
So who should probably get a little. What was LSU doing?
I think they got that coaching staff removed for a reason.
I mean, a lot of those guys, it got worse.
Yeah.
For Harold Perkins going to 7th round.
I think that's a really good example of, and we bring them up with the NIL thing a lot in terms of kind of not getting return on investment in terms of dollars there. There's not a lot that did less with more than LSU the last couple of years. Not just I know the results were okay for, they had 10 wins a couple times in there with Brian Kelly, but in terms of level of talent versus that talent actually getting better, like the guys that they brought in were all considered NFL guys when they got there. And a lot of them didn't end up being NFL guys when they left. And I think that's an indictment on that coaching staff, and probably as big of a reason as any that they aren't there anymore.
Was Pavia the top? Who was the top player that you felt like should have got drafted? Maybe it wasn't Pavia. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Pavia always struck me as a guy that was probably not going to get drafted.
I agree.
I agree. We've seen those college quarterbacks forever, right? Really good, super productive.
But you saw the stat though. He's the first Heisman finalist Lynch.
Yeah.
And that was 14 to not get drafted.
I get it. I've seen a lot of those guys that are really, really good in college that just don't end up being anything in the NFL and, not getting that opportunity. I'm sure, we'll see what happens in camp, but not really that surprised with Pavia.
Well, he's not helping himself by tweeting out an Instagram story saying "bleep the NFL, I'll blaze my own trail" or whatever.
That was fake. Sorry.
And his draft party did have all the. He didn't do himself any favors with the whole Heisman thing either, right? The F the voters and that kind of deal.
He listen, I understand that he doesn't get to where he is without that kind of an edge. I also do wonder at some point it's not always serving him well, I don't think. Do
you think did you think the DT from Ole Miss should have got drafted?
Xavier
Harris? Lawson didn't get drafted from Bama.
I'll be honest, I don't have as enough of a take on Harris to have a huge opinion.
You're going with Corleone?
Probably
Rico? Not getting drafted?
Yeah, probably. I haven't really looked at like all the people that didn't get drafted, but that's like the biggest name for me, at least, that I saw.
I thought Hemby would get drafted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's a good back.
It's also like Sierra Wright, I guess.
I didn't want to be a homer, but like for guys that I'm like very familiar with their tape, like Sierra Wright
Haynes King is up there.
I'm very confused as to how Sierra Wright can be a like mock draft first rounder halfway through the season, shut down a top 15 wide receiver, and then go undrafted. Like not even to like stay in the first round, but like go undrafted. Like if somebody would have been like, "Oh, this guy did really well for half a season,"
the fall
take him in the 6th round.
I thought tape alone he was a third day guy.
So you're going with McCoy as like the biggest steal?
Probably, because if the medicals are if he figures out the medicals, that's a first round guy you got in the 4th round. Like that's a huge.
God, you know who I want to say
for steal?
Yeah,
who?
Kyle Lewis.
Oh yeah,
who was arguably like you talk about film not lying.
Yeah,
and maybe we think he's too small. Kyle Lewis is an amazing football player, and he comes from an outstanding program in Pittsburgh. And he didn't go until the 4th round.
I was going to see what his combine numbers were in terms of size and everything.
Which is part of the reason why I like the Dolphins draft, even with Proctor going at 12. Again, if Proctor's motivated, then you're not going to probably be peeved about that pick, but getting Lewis in the 4th, man, I was like, holy.
He's not that small. He's like right at 6 foot 220.
Are you surprised Roman Hemby didn't get drafted?
What's that?
Are you surprised Roman Hemby didn't get drafted?
That's what. Yeah, I am.
Dude, the athletic profile on Lewis.
That's what I just said. Like I thought, so I thought Indiana would get the benefit of the doubt too.
Yeah, that's a weird one. That's a weird one for me that they didn't. Because and maybe it just hasn't been long enough with Indiana yet, but that's kind of what starts to happen because, and I know, people freak out about the Nebraska part of this all but how many guys that,
Jade Knott didn't get drafted.
How many guys that how many guys that got drafted between like 94 and 2001 from Nebraska got drafted because they went to Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And had they gone to Iowa State or somewhere like that at the same time and had the exact same careers, they don't get drafted, right? Ohio State gets some of that. Alabama gets some of that. You mentioned the 4th string defensive tackle that gets drafted, Keenan out of Alabama. And you're looking at and you go, okay, some of that is what we're seeing with the fall off for Nebraska. Now, obviously, Nebraska hasn't had the same level of talent either. Like that goes without saying. But some of these numbers end up getting inflated because if you're in the 7th round and you're just like, I need to pick a guy, you pick a guy from a program you trust. You're like, oh, he had a good profile coming out of high school. He was from a program I trust. I know he got coached up well. Let's just take a flyer on him, right? So some of these numbers do get inflated a little bit. I don't know if that's been going on long enough for Indiana for them to get that bump. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Ohio State gets that bump right now. Georgia, Alabama, those guys get that bump right now. I don't know if Indiana's been doing this long enough to get that little extra benefit of the doubt.
And I don't even think Black got a combine invite. And I loved him in the backfield.
He didn't, but he went fourth round Niners.
I told you I was floored.
Yeah,
because his his camp, he was legit.
Yeah.
In the Shrine game.
Yeah,
I was like, how is Black not getting a combine invite?
God, Lewis's combine numbers are unreal.
Dude, he's legit.
Like really, really good.
And he's
combine
productive.
numbers.
So he's not just a combine guy. Like
No, but the
Kyle
combine
Lewis
numbers back it up.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's a tackling machine. And Narduzzi, that's one of the main reasons I like Jashir Whittington.
Oh, yeah. Narduzzi can...
you could watch Whittington 3 times in practice, and you're like, yeah, that guy comes from pretty good stock. He's been well coached.
Yeah, that is a guy that you can trust what the coaching's been at that point. Yeah, Kalen Black did not get sent, didn't get an invite to the combine.
No, I know.
And he went in the
that was like a show discussion.
3rd round.
Yeah,
3rd round. That's pretty good.
That's a bump.
Yeah, for sure.
Although his all-star and
I do think the postseason stuff helped him a little bit.
He was fantastic.
I think the postseason stuff helped him, which is, again, part of the reason I was surprised that Sierra didn't get drafted, because he was good at the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
We heard Coach Rhule talking about that.
Well, you're not going to get the bump, though.
No, right. You don't get the success bump, but I thought he might get the postseason bump a little bit. Just a little, give him a little love there.
No, I agree.
It's like Sierra, the tape is good on Sierra. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what his measurables are, because he didn't get invited to anything either. But the tape is good on Sierra. You know what the tape's not good on? If I can switch gears here on you for a second.
What's that?
Tape's not good on your boy Nikola Jokic.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I mean,
I know.
My guy.
And he was mad too.
Sprints across the court to start a fight.
He's bad.
And the NBA's like, nah, we're cool.
You're mad.
Like, in what world? Like, this is the same league. This is the same league. I don't want to, when Jacob listens to this 6 hours from now, he's going to be really upset that I brought this up. This is the same league that suspended Amari Stoudemire for taking a single step onto the basketball court in the playoffs.
You're such a hater.
It's different when you're on the bench. You can't come off the bench.
You can't sprint across the court to start a fight for no damn reason, Rico.
Did he punch him?
He goes shoved
Did
him.
he punch him?
Did Amari punch anybody?
Hey, you can't step off the
How
off
are
the
you
bench.
supposed to feel anyway? Like, that's your takeaway? You're out Anthony Edwards, and DiVincenzo's done. Like, what is Minnesota going to do?
I have no idea. Apparently, DeSumnu is just going to drop 40
He
every
ain't
game.
going for 43 again, but
hey, yo.
I mean, what's Minnesota supposed to do?
Okay, in that context, though, I'm glad you bring that up. What's Jokic thinking when he knows, hey, yeah, we're about to go down 3-1. I'm going to go do something that very well should get me suspended when two of their best players are going to be out for the rest of the series.
Maybe he wants to be suspended.
Yeah, and
he wants to go back to his horses. He's just like, I got to get home.
Jokic,
exactly.
Like he's done playing this year. he looks like he's ready to do something different.
That's totally fine. I agree with you. I think Rudy Gobert has eaten that man's lunch for most of this series.
Oh, now we're back honking for Gobert after he was stealing from the league with his contract.
I mean, he's just stealing from the league a little bit from the contract. The contract doesn't bother me.
He's not. He got fined. Randall got fined. They're not going to get suspended.
I'm just here so I don't
should
get
be
fined.
suspended for that.
Should Randall?
We keeping a book
Probably.
right now,
Yeah. I mean, if you're going by what the actual rules are, yeah, you should probably be suspended.
Yeah. Well,
You just want Jokic suspended so Kenny loses his mind when they lose in the first round.
No, I want Jokic suspended because you're not allowed to do that.
Who's going to tell him no?
He ran across the court to start a fight with a guy for scoring while the game was going on.
You've seen his brothers. Who's going to tell him no?
Exactly.
Dude, I don't care. I don't even know. Listen, I don't care. I don't care about his brothers. I don't care about any of that. That was some just brain dead nonsense that Jokic was doing. And because, I didn't like that he scored. So stop him. Play defense for the last 10 seconds if you don't want him to score again.
But that's happened
to you for the first 47 minutes and 50 seconds when they were scoring on you. Is going to bother you now?
That's happened so many times, and none of those guys ever get suspended. Like whenever somebody scores at the end of a game, like you always have the vets who go up to them and like are chest to chest, like in their face.
They do not do that does not happen what Jokic did. That doesn't happen. Where you sprint across the court. You have some words occasionally. You don't sprint across the court and put hands on a guy, which he did first, by the way.
He's just bigger. It just looks bad.
Oh, cool. What is that? What argument is that? He's just bigger? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Rico.
It's like Ndamukong Suh. He's just bigger. It looks bad. He's just stronger than everybody else.
No, it looks bad. It didn't look bad when he was stronger than everybody else. It looked bad when he was doing some dirty, weird stuff in the NFL. That looked bad.
Nah, what you're talking about.
When you're starting to like leg whip people and stuff like that. That looks bad. And guess what? He got in trouble for it. He got suspended for it. What are we doing here? Like, that's clown behavior by Jokic. We're all going to pretend like that's not just idiotic behavior. And we're going to pretend like we can still put him in this conversation of how great he is when you're like, yeah, I don't think he's interested in playing anymore. Like, we're still cool with that guy now? That guy that some people still want to vote for MVP this year, or he's just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm checked out. They're two of their best players are out. We could very easily come back 3-1 in this series because they're running a mash unit and some Illinois has-been is dropping 40 points on us. And we're just sitting here and being like, oh, he decided he's done, so it's okay.
Oh, shoot.
Like, you can't sprint across the floor to fight somebody because they were playing basketball still when you decided you were done. That's what Jokic was mad about. He said, I'm done playing for today. You should also decide to be done.
They're down 15 at the time.
Yeah,
or
like
whatever
12.
it was.
Like, what's the difference between 12 and 14? Who cares?
A chance to win and not.
Well, you see Mike Conley, he like tossed it up to McDaniels, and like as soon as he like tosses it up and looks at him, there's a different camera angle. You see Mike Conley just drop his head because he's like, damn it.
Dude, listen.
Putting that team on his back, he's probably tired.
I have absolutely.
But not too tired to sprint across the floor.
Yeah, I mean, he had he had no energy when he was trying to get to score on Rudy Gobert. But when it came to be a fake tough guy because somebody scored with 1.3 seconds left.
Jokic is
I wouldn't say fake.
I don't think he's a fake tough guy.
That's fake tough guy behavior. Whether he's actually a tough guy or not.
It's in the NBA, man.
Deciding like, oh, this is where you've crossed the line, Minnesota. That's stupid.
There's a lot of things I'd say about Jokic. I don't think fake tough guy.
I think his brothers have been cashing his checks for a long time.
Got to keep watering the bamboo.
I think he's the soft brother. That's all I'm saying.
Come on, man.
Oh,
that's
Ravi.
Shoot.
He is the soft brother because he made it professionally. So they did all this stuff to make sure he could make it professionally.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's a fake tough guy. But he's also not fake tough guys.
I wouldn't say fake.
It's fake tough guy behavior to be like, hey, you don't score on us when the game's out of hand, even though the game's still happening, but I'm done playing.
That's like the second or third time we've seen a random layup or a bucket at the end of the game incite little
That's
festivity.
So dumb. If you don't want him to score, don't let him score.
The news coming out of that series is Edwards and DiVincenzo.
I would rather, that's brutal. Like
That's horrible.
I feel terrible for Minnesota. But like,
and why? By the way, why couldn't I tell whose home game the Knicks and Hawks were? Like, Knicks fans don't rock like that.
Yes, they do.
Atlanta?
They're crazy.
Atlanta thing.
Every basket, I was like, wait, what court are we on?
That's an Atlanta thing.
It was horrible.
No, they did it in Indiana last year too.
I was like, good to know that Atlanta just lets their place get invaded.
Yeah. They did it in Indiana last year too. They do it for a bunch of home games.
Yeah, but you have to still want to travel. You cannot be there in your own home team, but to for the Knicks fans to go travel is different unless they're just I guess everybody in Atlanta is a transplant. So that's probably a 40% coming from New York.
Atlanta historically has this problem.
Yeah.
They had it. I mean, they had it with the Bulls when Chicago was going through there with the Jordan years. Like, Atlanta historically has this problem. And Rico and Kobe, how are you going to say it's Bush League behavior to put up a layup with time on the clock, but it's not Bush League behavior to go sprint across the court like some D-bag fake tough guy and be like, you can't score while the game's still happening? That's not nice. What are we talking about?
It's an unwritten rule.
Yeah, and you know what's a written rule? Don't start fights during games.
Oh, boy.
So we're going to somebody broke the unwritten rule, so we're okay with breaking the written rules now? That's stupid.
Yeah, 100%.
That's brain dead behavior.
I see zero problems.
What are we talking about here? You don't want them to score. Stop them from scoring. That's how sports work.
Rico, you guys went in the series now?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be good. It's crazy how much better the offense looks when you play through Cat. Like it's wild. When Jalen Brunson doesn't like put it all on his shoulders to make a shot when he doesn't need to, when he has 4 of the teammates on the floor. It's also crazy when Mikal Bridges is not, actively trying to take shots that he shouldn't be taking.
Is it crazy to see how pedestrian the Sixers look with Embiid back?
No, that team is bad.
God, they're weird. They have good players.
They have good players, but they're a bad basketball team.
It's unbelievable.
Like when all of their guys are playing together, you've got Paul George, who
you hate on George. That's fine.
You got Joel Embiid, who cannot play more than 1 game consecutively. I think that's somewhere written in the Geneva Convention. He's just not allowed.
You and Coach Queen, big Geneva Convention guys.
You've got Edgecombe, who's really interesting. You got Maxey, who's good. But it's just a weird when all those guys are actually healthy, especially because all year Maxey and Edgecombe are like, I guess we're just doing this by ourselves, and they figure out a way to make it in the playoffs. And then you're like, oh, here are these old guys that you haven't played with all year. Good luck. Like, what are we talking about? It's a weird team, man. Like, there is a discussion that needs to be had for a different day that, like, Daryl Morey might not be that good at this.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. I mean, he's no Sam Presti.
Like, he might not be that good at this. He's accumulated a lot of teams and a lot of talent and not done much with it.
Don't go.
I'm just saying.
Trust the process.
Jokic should be suspended.
They did, and they're on the hook for at least 3 more years with Embiid. That's going to be miserable.
Yeah, it was. That was definitely a super fun extension that they did there. Good work, guys.
Are you having fun watching Old Man Braun?
Yeah. Watching Old Man Braun?
Yeah, you having fun watching Old Man Braun, DB?
This is actually probably the most fun he's been to watch in a long time, I think.
He ate it last night, too, so that starts with me. I turned the ball over too much.
Yeah, like I've been actually really impressed with him this series. I saw some clip that was like Vince Carter like dunking at 40, and then some random other like old like retired dudes dunking at 40, and then they cut to LeBron dunking at 40, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty weird that still looks like this. I don't think that's supposed to happen. That time in Miami might still be paying off. You know what I mean?
Shane, can you tell time or no?
I can.
Okay. I'm just curious. Just curious.
Shane, would you like to play the music now?
That's a cue. I'm just waiting for my cue. I'm not getting yelled at anymore.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, he's traumatized.
Well, it was 10:04 and you yelled at him the other day for playing music. And now it's 10 o'clock and he won't play the music. And it's like, don't listen to him.
It's because we were in the middle of a conversation at 10:04.
Yeah, that means ramp it down.
I don't care what time it is. Like, if we're having a talk, we're having a talk.
Shane, I got you. Don't worry, buddy. Don't worry.
Just don't play in the middle of a conversation. That's all.
Wow.
Hey, Shane, thank you for playing the music. Appreciate you. That's DB.
Don't you hear me? I'm cranky. I'm tired. I worked hard at school.
He's always cranky. That's DB. I'm Ravi. We'll be back tomorrow. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.